Yeah, Film Vault. Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Brian Bishop. We're here today for your big annual Vaulties Awards episode. You're welcome. We will name the 5 best films of the year.
You start with me, Brian, please.
The best films of the year. Somewhere between 5 and 10 or 20.
We're doing 10, Brian. We're doing 10. I'm doing 10. Everyone does 10 except for you.
I give you a hard time every year about 10. This year, I don't know about you. I don't know what your process is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah. Talk to me.
There was a moment.
Right? You had momentary weakness and thought of giving in?
Late in the process where I had 17 films
Yeah.
that I was seriously considering.
Right. It's that kind of year.
This is the short list.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, pulling off any of these films is going to hurt a little bit.
It's going to be painful.
Hurt a little more.
Yeah.
It got down to 5.
Did you? Look at
But you know what, though? You're going to be upset because I was clever about it.
Oh.
what? Don't get clever, the Vaulties. I mean, there's plenty of room to be clever on this program. The Vaulties, not the best place to be clever. Come on, Brian.
I had to have criteria.
Criteria? The best movies. What is this criteria?
He's not saying criterion.
You're saying criteria is
I
the best movies.
Criteria.
That is the criteria.
Yeah, there's only one criteria.
No, how to come out
Well,
this
no,
year.
because he came up with new criteria for good movies, which is fun. Right? Yeah.
So zone of interest number 1, Brian.
Zone of interest cannot make his list unless he really is as racist and horrible as everyone seems to think.
Speaking of zone of interest,
Yeah.
the opposite. 4 of my 5 films,
Yeah.
high in the fun scale.
Very fun.
High in
A lot of fun going on in the Vaulties.
A lot of fun. And as we discussed, I'm sure, maybe you'll agree, good year for movies. Deep, not top heavy. I don't think there's 1 or 2 that clearly separate themselves. But there were a lot that I seriously considered for the list.
Yeah, deep year. We've been saying that for a while.
And, sorry, one more thing. I have a list of movies that never even made the short list, that are beyond the 17, that are very good movies that in other years might crack that.
This was like the year of the 4-star film.
Yeah, there really was. There were plenty of 3.5, 4-star movies.
Now, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I do feel like part of that is because, do not turn me down, it's the Vaulties.
Well, he's so quiet. Ryan's got to get on the mic. Ryan likes staying away from the mic.
I'm leaning back.
I feel like each year we're getting closer to having top, like a majority 4-star movies because there's just so much information out there. And I think in years past, like maybe you and I would have gone out and seen Five Nights Freddy or Madam Web, which came out this year. But like we don't take chances as much because we hear so quickly that it's absolute utter trash. Don't go.
Quick preview on that note. I was worried as it was every year. I'm like, I'm not going to have enough movies for the Vaulties or next week annual worst of the year.
I was afraid of that too.
I'm looking at the list and I got enough.
Well, you take your daughter to trash quite often.
That's true.
Yeah. I only take Atticus to like...
the gift that keeps on giving.
I take Atticus to top shelf stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, boy. Anyway, best movies. Good times. We're keeping it positive today.
I can't go to the Studio Ghibli. I mean, I don't deserve to go if I'm calling it Ghibli at this point. But I'm going to Japan next week. Very excited to go to the Studio Ghibli Museum.
Are you having lunch with Miyazaki?
Can't do it.
What?
Yeah, cannot do that.
Why?
Because they sell out.
Oh.
They sell out like moments after they go on sale, which is once a month for the entire month. And then
there's got to be a secondary market.
Yeah, like the tickets cost like $16, I think, to get in. Yeah. And secondary market, they start at $180. So they're just allowing this to occur.
More than a 10 times upgrade.
Very upsetting. And I can't come up with a solution. So I can't explain to the wife that, Atticus and I are going to go spend $400 to walk around a museum of cartoons.
Yeah, the worst part is that normally it would cost you $32, and now you're looking at upwards of $400.
I can do math, yeah.
Normally you would scalp, but out there you're going to have trouble with the language.
I think I can. I think scalping is a universal language. Looking sad, having money out, waving it about.
I see. You have your yen in hand.
I'm getting my yen tomorrow. Okay, let's go. Let's do Vaulty Talk. Vaulty. Actually, no, it's not time for Vaulty.
Not even close. Not even close.
Fanflickssions. So
we've got a round, robust list of films to go over. We call it Fanflickssions. We confess the flicks we've seen in the past week. By the way, if this is your first episode of the Film Vault, welcome. Enjoy. Hope you get something from the show, and we will now involve producer Avery to read what the listeners have to say.
Unfortunately.
Must we? All right, I'm turning the camera. Oh,
We
we should also mention now that we have cameras on. Every year I dress up just shy of a tuxedo for the Vaulties.
You got a little bit of collar poking out. I like the look. I like the
Yeah, I'm
black
doing that.
collar.
It's a little
homage.
little fenster
So, oh, nice. Now you're gonna
from
say
Usual Suspects.
Who's Travolta's character in Staying Alive?
No, I'm not doing that. I don't
Danny
remember.
something.
Good pull.
Yeah, no, Danny something.
Good job, Brad. All right, Avery, take it away.
A little bit of housekeeping. So we held a contest on Instagram put together by Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram contest. And the winner.
Wait, what was the contest? What happened here?
So the contest
Imagine
was.
everyone's listening for the first time.
So followers need to tag people they knew in the comments section to prompt a little social media engagement. We were giving away a mug from Brian Draws Movies.
Mm-hmm. That's not me.
Any mug, a mug of your choice.
Oh, nice.
Anything you can imagine.
I got a couple of those from Brian.
I still got my Frank Drebin mug.
I have Milton from Office Space.
Good.
And I have Polka Dot Man, David Dalsmalchian from the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. No, the Suicide Squad.
I have Shaun of the Dead. Drink from it quite a bit.
Nice.
Very
enjoyable.
enjoyable.
You really? You use it?
I do.
I just have mine up in the cupboard.
No.
Just for looks.
I got glass. I got glass in the cupboard, so I can see it all the time. I say good
nice.
morning to Mr. Polka Dot and Milton every morning.
No,
What do people,
heavy
as
rotation.
a realtor, what do people think of the glass?
They like it. They're in. They're hot.
It's good, right?
Yeah, people like those right now.
I like
It's
those.
a Seinfeld look.
Oh, does Seinfeld have that?
Well, Seinfeld had it in his apartment, but that was mainly for product placement.
That's true. They got to sell Twix.
Yeah.
I mean, Silly Rabbit Twix.
Brian's
Twix
killing it
is
with the polls today.
Yeah, Brian. You save all your gold for the biggest episode of the year?
I'll save it for the can't do.
For the second half.
Top
Kevin
This is where I get rid of all the detritus.
Murin.
At the top? It's not smart.
Kevin Murin was the winner. And
Good job, Kevin.
He got the Sandlot mug for his prize. So he is the winner.
Look at that. We already know.
He
What's
has
the Sandlot? Who's on it? Is it Smalls? Is it
I would imagine
Hambone?
it's got to be Smalls, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's got to be Smalls.
Dennis Leary on there? Throwing the ball?
Zeus?
I would imagine.
What's the dog's name?
Jet? Benny the Jet on there? Who knows?
Fanfliction.
Wait, do we know how many got right?
No. That's
Oh.
not Brian. This is the Instagram contest. I just described it.
Yeah. This is different than the
I thought you said, okay,
the
well,
Oscar,
Oscar
poll.
poll.
Okay.
Pool.
misunderstood.
Poll. Why do I keep saying poll? Like I'm some kind of idiot.
This is a rough start.
Should we start over?
This is a rough start. Fanfliction. Compiled by Mike Cole.
Mikey boy.
Britton Poole on Instagram saw Damsel, now streaming on Netflix. It was overall good, but I think this is a film that would have benefited from a few more minutes of exposition at the beginning to explain why a heroic princess could wield a sword and fight a dragon at the end after spending the first hour of the movie basically being useless and trying to survive said dragon.
It's called character growth.
We didn't see the growth, evidently.
That's true.
There was no growth. It just happened.
Yeah.
Paul DePaula on Facebook also saw Damsel. It was a decent fantasy adventure. Feels a bit like store-brand Game of Thrones, but the dragon was pretty good. Overall, a middle-of-the-road popcorn flick.
Hey,
Additionally,
I'm glad we did that.
I watched Poor Things.
Yeah.
Now streaming on Hulu.
Tis.
So much weirder than I expected. How's that possible? But I enjoyed it. An absurdist fantasy and darkly funny. Nothing went the way I was expecting.
Kind of true. Yeah, there was a lot of left you guessing, and like you didn't really see things coming too much. Yeah, good
True.
stuff. I like that movie.
It had the same effect on the Oscars.
It was one of the 17.
Is it too late to go back to my list and try and rearrange some things? 'Cause
Not at all.
I forgot about Poor Things.
our show.
I forgot I even saw that last year.
Oh, that you probably
That is a
should've-
problem.
You probably
I
should have recalled.
should do research better. I joke. Fucking Poor Things. Poor Things. More on that later.
Giving me a hard time about
Poor
jokes.
Things. Yeah,
Juan.
that was a poor joke. I get it.
Poor jokes. Someone make that
Poor
listener
things,
art.
poor jokes.
Someone make that listener art. Juan Magdaleno. Poor pronunciation. On the Facebook, saw Kung Fu Panda 4. Jesus, he's got a full paragraph here. In theaters now, but wait for it to be on streaming.
How much analysis does that deserve?
We need to hear about it.
Not much fun to be had.
Oh,
I went in with low expectations and it delivered.
wait, isn't the whole idea supposed to be fun?
Felt like it played it super safe and pulled punches. Pretty
that's a-
predictable.
Kids movie.
Maybe it's the bar being set higher by Spider-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or maybe it's the huge-ass family of 10 in front of our row who could have told their kids to shut the fuck up, sit down, not turn their cell phone light on, to look at their sibling's mouth, walk back and forth crying out they want water, stand up loudly to blow their nose multiple times, and lastly turn around in their chair, start rocking the shit out of it like it was about to tip over. This movie could have been 2 stars.
We should also point out that Eric came in salty today. So.
That sounded like an Anderson review,
That's right.
where I describe when the movie's so bad, I just describe what's going on around me.
I resonated strongly with that review. In tone more than content.
I identify with that. I feel seen.
Krongos 032284, catchy. On Reddit, finally caught up with Dune Part 2.
Finally, it's not for a week.
It feels like it, but everywhere it's sold out.
All right, real quick before
It's
we go on.
played twice.
Yes.
I had such an impulse. I was with Atticus. I did have a large marker with me. I didn't, and I thought about doing this, but I did not know how to. This is embarrassing. I can't believe that I'm talking about.
What did you almost do?
There was a large poster. I was at a theater yesterday,
No.
and it was the two of them like facing off with, with
Yes.
with the swords,
Yeah.
and Austin Butler's bald head. And I wanted to do a little a talk bubble and have him saying, "I ain't nothing but a hound dog."
That's
and
good.
I pictured it, and it was so funny in my head, and I really wanted to do
And
it.
it was so
not bad.
funny.
It was so funny in my head, but I couldn't figure out like where to stash the 7-year-old so I could do that because that's really very naughty to do. But wouldn't you enjoy that if you were walking by and
That's
you saw
good.
that? That's good stuff, right?
That or like, I just want to be your teddy bear. Yeah, some Elvis lyric. I like that. I just want to be you.
No, I understand he has other songs, Brian. We don't need to go down this. I feel like the hound dog hits the mark.
It's good. I got no problem with that.
Should have drawn sunglasses in the pompadour on him.
No, I think just him being bald and looking angry is even better. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Just yelling, "Where's Priscilla?" Dune Part 2. This is one of the best movies ever. And Anderson, your hate is 100% contrarian.
Don't
It
be-
is not.
don't be cruel
Why
to
is it
me.
me? Brian, don't be cruel. Why? Brian and I, we're on the same page with this movie.
I also didn't hate it though. I said it was a
I didn't
3-star
hate it.
movie.
I liked it quite a bit. It's
You're
a
not-
3.5,
you're not-
4-star movie.
You're not drawing the ire. This film is a monumental achievement.
Don't know about
A
that.
delight for the senses.
Okay.
It's
Also-
slightly better Avatar.
Go read the book.
Hey, that's offensive. You saying that is wrong.
Go read the book, he says.
All right. Well,
No.
I don't read.
This is a
so-
movie show.
Curtis Helms on X.
Was that
Saw
my fucking teacher over there? Wait, what was that guy's name? Kevin?
Krongos 032284. Unforgettable.
Some book reading really got you a good name.
It's like when I didn't like the Marvels and like I was explained to me like, oh, you got to watch the TV show in between to understand. Like,
Not
watch
quite.
the fucking
Well, I got
movie.
Avery over here who did read the book and like all the problems we had with it. Avery's like, yeah, pretty much the same thing in the book. So I feel like I got the cliff notes. Hey, I liked the movie quite a bit. All right, it just didn't have the emotional impact that I needed for
I
me
saw
to
it a
love
second
Okay.
time.
Did it have the emotional impact this time around?
Want to hear something controversial?
Sure.
First one's better. Oh, yeah. First one is better.
His sniffs are getting more and more egregious.
It's fun. But the first one is better. I think first one's a 5-star movie. This one was like 4.5.
So it's like Godfather 2 situation.
There's like after the cold open, which is amazing, where they're with all the soldiers floating and killing each other. The 30 minutes after is clunky, and then after that, it really picks up. But that 30 clunky minutes makes Dune better. Dune 1 is no clunky minutes.
Okay.
Dune 1 is
All right.
all killer, no filler.
I
You
take
heard it
your
here
word
first.
for it.
Heard it here
I've
first.
seen it, but I remember lots of filler.
Curtis Helms on X saw Dune Part 2. As someone who hasn't read the books and doesn't particularly care about the deep lore, I still had a great time. Totally followed the important action, and I felt more connected to the world at large. Pays off investment in watching Part 1 as well. Yeah, I don't think you could handle this without Part 1.
You'd be lost.
Quite
I
confusing.
think a lot of people
Even
would be
more
lost regardless.
than the normal viewer.
Everyone's catching up. Adam Catlin on Facebook. I also saw Dune Part 2.
Oh my God.
I wasn't enamored with the first part. Smart. But really enjoyed the sequel. Wrong. We were completely opposite. The spectacle of the world blew me away. And it overcame legitimate story concerns about how the third act was rushed through. I didn't have any concerns with Chalamet and Zendaya's relationship. Maybe the acting wasn't Oscar-worthy, but I bought in immediately.
All right.
And lastly, Lab Giant on Reddit. The family and I watched Nimona. And everyone
Yes.
gave it 2 big thumbs up.
Mona's fun.
TFE was spot on with all the comments.
You're welcome.
Hey guys, prediction. Year from now, 51 weeks from now,
No one is on my top 5 this year.
we'll be watching Oscars.
Oh.
Yeah. And Dune 2 will not be up for Best Picture.
You really think so?
I don't think it will be up for Best Picture. No,
Really?
it'll be up for some
it's a pretty
awards,
strong movie.
It's gonna
but
be
I
up.
don't think it's going to be up for Best Picture.
It's going to be up.
I'm going to save that for Dune 3. I don't think it's going to be up for Best Picture, guys. I don't.
Who knows, given what else is coming out this year? But
Well, people are talking about it's the greatest movie ever made.
I mean, people were saying that about Oppenheimer in that one.
I don't know, man. I think it's more likely than not.
All right.
Then again, who knows?
We
what
shall
comes
see.
out. It could be wowed by this year's Moonlight.
I mean, now's the time to throw a couple bucks at that in Vegas.
No, because I just said it's not going to be up.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Avery,
is it off?
I
Yeah,
imagine you never get more value than right now.
Dune 2 or
That's true.
Spotlight?
Or Spotlight.
Spotlight or Dune 2. What are you doing, Brian? Come on, let's get back on track.
Dune 2.
You got to think about it.
Spotlight was good. It was quite good. I enjoyed Spotlight. Is enjoyed the right word?
No.
I hope not.
I was captivated by Spotlight.
I'm jealous. I'm very jealous of you. I wish I was.
All right, turn around.
I like the Dune 2. I do like the Dune 2. I'm reacting to the 9.0, and I'm reacting to things that could have been shored up for me as a viewer to make it, to make me like it as much as all of you seem to have liked it.
I did buy the relationship more the second time, though.
Okay.
It was not as much the issue.
Quite an assortment of films to fest this week.
Yeah, let's
I have
keep it brief.
I have Oscar movies that I caught up on finally. I have
Timely.
I have an assigned film.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true. We do have an assigned film from Eric Robbins.
I have lots of thoughts.
Okay. We're going to be talking about a number of things. We're also going to be talking about we'll be talking about Perfect Days, Bobi Wine, the People's President, the battle at Lake Changjin, as well as Love Lies Bleeding. Let's go.
Oh, you saw it? Oh, I also saw. Oh, should I just do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I don't want to start off going solo.
Go ahead.
No, that's for in between.
Love Lies Bleeding. You
No,
ready?
I didn't see it.
Why
What?
would you not see that?
Because of the Oscars.
You didn't see Better Driveway Dolls?
The Oscars.
No, it's not.
It's called Driveway Dolls. The Oscars are over. We're moving on, Brian. We've
I'm
turned the page.
catching up. I actually chose a really good movie.
Okay, well, I'll do Love Lies Bleeding by myself. Then.
Well, let's start off with something we saw together.
What?
You want to do Perfect Days or you want to do Bobi Wine? What do you want to do?
Perfect Days. Let's
The
get
Battle of Lake
Perfect
Changjin.
Days. I'll be a contrarian here as well, I guess. Let's talk about the first Jim Jarmusch movie in like 3 or 4 years, Perfect Days.
Perfect Day. First of all, we always confess the flicks we've seen over the past week. We call it Fanflickssions in a very clunky title, and the first one is Perfect Days. Perfect Days is a 2023 film directed by Wim Wenders, starring
Just fun to say.
Koji Yashuko
He's great.
as Hirayama.
He was great.
96% Rotten Tomatoes. You can rent this. It was nominated for Best International Feature. Best International Feature.
Hey, you're familiar with the old Jim Jarmusch, right? His work.
I am.
Yeah, didn't this feel more like a Jim
like where you
Jarmusch
going
movie
with
than
this?
Wim Wenders?
Yeah.
Like it felt very Jim.
Yes.
It was just
yeah.
distractingly Jim.
So to set the table, this is a very quiet movie about a quiet man who lives a quiet life. I wouldn't say off the grid. I would just say he has removed himself from the wheels of society, the rat race, the mouse wheel, whatever.
He's in
you
his
wanna call
own
it.
world, which is actually even discussed at one point with a relative of his.
Oh, it's true.
There's people live in different worlds. There's many, many worlds in this world. His happens to be very quiet.
Well, his overlaps with a lot of the other people because he is a public servant.
Right. He cleans bathrooms, toilets.
Toilet,
And
if you must know.
actually, you know, it's funny because the two of the big movies that I saw this week are Love Lies Bleeding and Perfect Days. Love Lies Bleeding opens up with her cleaning the toilet. So I'm like, I get it. Some characters out there clean toilets. I get it.
It's not glamorous work, but it needs to be done.
So his character, he lives, his life is mundane. And I get it.
But it's
get it.
It's mundane by choice. Like he has a very meager existence. He has the 1-bedroom place.
Right.
He doesn't even have an alarm clock. He wakes every morning
He's
to
a
the
minimalist.
sound of an elderly man sweeping the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what wakes him up.
Yep.
He spends his time reading by what appears to be the only light source in his apartment.
Peaceful.
He lives
Peaceful.
a life as though he was involved in some heinous, like, hit and run drunk driving incident where he killed a child. Or
That's
something.
what you're expecting, right?
Yeah, he does.
Right? Like he's like living the life like I should not enjoy anything anymore.
He is like a a martyr or a monk who's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
self-prescribed.
Right. And then I am also prescribing because I'm watching and sitting through this movie with his life. And I'm like, I get it. I don't need to see it again and again and again and again and again.
Okay, but so it sounds like you and I may have had different reactions. I didn't think it was overdone. I mean, it got a lot of him being him by himself, but there was enough going on with people that came in and out of his life, people he worked with, relatives. I thought there was enough there.
It was the best pointless movie I've ever seen.
Yes, a movie that goes almost.
There's some pointless movies out there that are fantastic.
But Avery has a point, though, ironically, about being pointless,
That's
which
rare.
is this character experiences no growth. He was right. He's the same at the beginning as at the end. Not that it's a bad thing. I think others around him experience growth.
By the end, he was a happier person.
Was he?
I think so.
He was sort of just a mirror for other people.
Yeah, it felt like he was like at one point a niece comes into the picture, his niece, and she feels like she changed a little bit. Then the girlfriend of his assistant feels like she changed a little bit because of his influence. But I don't feel like he changed.
Well, okay,
much.
so the last shot, and are we
boy,
spoiling this? But like, it's just a shot of him, an impossibly long shot that lasts the entire length of the song, and he's just driving with the sun coming up on his face. I think if they were trying, if the vendors and company was trying to say that he had no growth, he's right back where he started.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm
let's
saying maybe he's
see
a
that
fully
shot
realized character.
in the beginning of the movie, maybe.
But
it seemed to me
similar
like at the
beginning.
end they were showing like, look, it was very small, but this man has grown and he has come to terms with things. And I think it had something to do with him talking to the ex-husband and that whole scene, which is a weird move, by the way. He finds out a man's like terminally ill from spreading cancer, and he's like, okay, let's play some shadow tag. It's like, I don't know if that guy was up for shadow tag.
Yeah.
It was a weird request.
I don't know. It felt cultural.
I probably would have, because I'm a bit of a simpleton at times, and I know that others are, kind of share my simpletonness, and there wasn't enough for me. I might have benefited from sitting in a dark theater where I couldn't be distracted. I think so.
I saw in the theater.
The meditation,
so maybe that's the difference.
I could not access it, so I'm just going to kind of be quiet over here.
Yeah, it'd be very easy to tune out if you were not locked into the theater.
Yeah, because this movie, if you're at home with the phone right next to you,
you're gonna
there's distractions, there's opportunities galore.
And this is very artsy in some of the shots in the film.
Yes,
this is very almost film school, not in a bad way, but very like student filmy.
Yeah, satirically.
Oh, well,
like a satire almost, like a spoof.
It's what I expect. Well,
it was peaceful. This feels like top 5 movies to fall asleep to.
This was for me a better version. Remember Patterson with Adam Driver,
Jim Jarmusch.
But this for me was a better version of that, more accessible and more enjoyable.
I don't know.
I like the character
because it was enjoyable too. I liked it, but I just don't know who this is for.
You know what I was anticipating was he was in the middle of like Tokyo, like the really on and popping part of Tokyo, and it, like everything's just frenetic and crazy.
It feel spread out.
But he was in the quieter parts of Tokyo, and he was quiet himself. I thought that he was going to be like where it was just chaos and he's quiet. Yeah, I thought there was going to be more than juxtaposition. I thought we were going to get more night shots with the insanity that is Tokyo. This could have been like a suburb out here almost, right? It did not feel like the Tokyo that I thought.
Sometimes with those toilets cleaning, it feels like a rest stop in the middle of nowhere. It's like there's no one around.
Yeah.
Now the theater experience might have actually got my ire up even more because this occurred to me while I was watching it, which is these really quiet movies and TV shows where very little is going on. If a tiny little thing happens, people are needing that release. And I would imagine there's a few scenes in the theater where people lost their shit over something that's not. It's kind of similar to like a person who's an asshole all the time, and then if they do one nice thing, people like lose their shit. Oh my god, he's really really a nice man. And if you're nice all the time, and you slip up and you have a bad day.
Oh,
what a fucking that guy's an asshole.
The veneer is coming off.
Quiet little movies with nothing going on. They get a whole lot of credit when tiny little things happen.
That's interesting. Yes, I didn't observe that this time, but you are in general correct.
It does seem like there's a certain brand of moviegoer who is just waiting to laugh.
Yeah.
They can't wait.
They're just scouring the screen.
It's almost like proving that they're still paying attention.
Yes.
they're holding in a laugh and like, can we just give an excuse?
It needs to come out.
Or it's like letting the teacher know, like, I'm still here. I'm still paying attention to your sermon.
It's like they're watching porn and they're waiting for someone to get naked. They're like, please.
Why do you have to take it there?
Because
it's a beautiful
it's the Vaulties. We're getting dirty.
Dislike this movie. It's just if ever there was a movie not, aggressively not made for me, I tried to.
I told you, didn't I tell you?
I know, you knew. I know. So I'm trying not to talk badly about it.
Not made for you. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts or Perfect Day?
Oh, Transformers for sure.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Wait, I said not made for you.
Yeah, not made for me.
Okay.
Transformers was not made for like any fiber of me.
But now you're talking about Perfect Days as not made for you.
There's
totally
a place.
made for you.
There's a place where
It's
I
made
can get.
for hipster film
There's
lovers.
a place I can get where I would appreciate Perfect Days and might involve some mushrooms or something. There's
You would've
nothing
gone-
that I
you
can
would've
adjust.
gone-
This made Drive My Car seem like Fast and Furious.
It did seem like a short version.
You would have gone. You would have gone to the video
shorter version of
store
Perfect Days.
back in the day, looking for this, asking like, I heard you guys.
And
have
I would
Perfect
watch
Days.
it, and I'd be like, "Fuck, that was a lot of energy for this." And I don't access these movies. I can't. I'm just not really good unless it's fucking a ghost story, and then it changes my life. When these movies, when I can crack these movies, like they are life altering.
It's not
This
that,
one is not that.
I could see this weirdly being a very good movie to watch if you like smoking weed before watching films.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I
could
think
see
there
where
is a mind
you
space
just,
that I can
just
get to.
drop in, and it's very
There's no mind
repetitive,
space,
and
Avery,
there's
that I can get to. Where
that's what I'm saying.
I have an
Transformers.
But I think I
movie.
just thought of a group of people who might really respond to this, and I
Yeah.
think if you like smoking weed and
I feel like
watching,
you're really in Tokyo,
yeah,
man.
I
words.
think you
Two
drop
words,
in.
Watch along.
I was thinking that with this, but
No.
subtitle. Yeah, there's plenty.
That's
of
terrible.
I had plenty of commentary running through my mind.
I was joking.
Oh, we could absolutely do a watch along with this one.
That's very bad.
Great soundtrack, best part of the movie.
Pretty
for
good
me.
soundtrack.
Hey,
Very
speaking
good
of watch-alongs,
Pretty good soundtrack.
the watch-along this month is the Oscars. A lot of you turned out and tuned in.
And tuned out.
tuned out. May have tuned out, but turned out and tuned in for our Oscar watch-along. Thanks for joining
No, we had
us.
good numbers, and
It is available as a downloadable and watch-along. You can listen standalone if you'd like to. There's still, unfortunately, some dead air where we're
It's-
like trying to watch Kimmel jokes.
it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and you get
it is?
you get the link if you're at the $10 up. I can't imagine watching it after the fact, but
That's what we-
it's not like a
watch it like a podcast.
it's not like a podcast. You can't like download.
It's like a
it. It's on
3.5
YouTube.
hour podcast.
It's on the old YouTube. You gotta. I think if you get like advanced YouTube or whatever,
I
like
thought
paid
that's still a
YouTube, you
Patreon watch along for the month.
it is.
No, we're not making it available.
No, it is available. You just don't know how things work. Like YouTube is where you find it. You get
But
a
you
private
normally
link.
make them available as downloadable podcasts, yeah?
Not the watch-alongs. The bonus
Really?
bonus episodes, yeah, but the watch-alongs.
I did not know that.
You go to the YouTube link and then you have it on the YouTube over there. You see our dumb faces and then you
See,
watch the movie.
We're all learning something today.
Yes, you are, Brian. All right.
You want me to talk about the movie I saw?
He was almost like a plant. You know, he loves his plants, and he was almost like a plant himself. You know what I mean?
He was.
He does love his
He was a
plants.
warm-blooded plant.
He does love his plants.
I love the guy. I didn't dislike the guy. I needed more of his assistant because
I
his
enjoy-
assistant shit was going on when
Did-
his assistant was around.
Didn't love the showers.
10 out of 10.
I enjoyed
Who
the,
sits in showers? I didn't know that was a thing. Do
Didn't
not
love
sit in shower.
Sitting on a bucket in
Don't
public.
like that at all.
Hated
No.
that.
I enjoyed the meticulous routine every day.
Did you?
Getting up, spraying the plants.
It was like Groundhog Day without jokes. Right?
That's not a
It
bad.
was like Groundhog Day, like 10,000 days in the future. Like you accept your fate. So this is my life now.
But I mean, I don't think that's accurate at all, because if you could do anything every single day, cleaning toilets would be the last. Maybe the last thing you would choose to do every day.
I did love how
So
whiny
where's
his
that?
sidekick was.
I loved his sidekick. He was a lot of fun.
That was great.
What would they? Okay, let's unpack this a little bit. When we had the kid with Down syndrome come in, who was looking for Takashi, his sidekick, and his sidekick's no longer there, and Takashi was very, very sad. What are they trying to say with that? And Takashi, I mean, that the kid with Down syndrome flees the bathroom, and
Right.
he's sad that Takashi is no longer there. What's that about?
I think it was just a random slice of life. I don't think it was trying to say anything.
I was trying to say something. That was
Maybe
written
it
in
was.
there.
I didn't pick up on it.
What are we getting there? That he's worthless. That he can't even comfort a man-child. I know what's happening there. That he like maybe in his head he's like, Takashi was good for something, at least. Like he was a good person because he could like reach out and connect with other people, and I can't. I don't know. But then he just went on with the cleaning the toilets. He
Then
didn't
it
even.
goes right back to business as usual.
He needed to have like some inner monologue that I maybe write some stuff. We could see it. Like
Yeah, I don't
Like-
know how much monologue he was having.
none. I don't know if this
In
man
or
thinks about
out.
anything.
Back to Patterson. He should have done poetry.
Poetry, yeah, a little poetry. Maybe a little like First Reformed, like he could get home at night and like start writing later.
I feel better.
First Reformed. Hey, I like that one.
I didn't see that coming. I like this better than First Reformed.
I like First Reformed quite a bit.
Actually, I
like
don't remember First Reformed that
more
one.
than this. You don't remember the.
I mean, he's an oxygen priest, but yeah.
You don't remember the end? Holy Jesus!
I do remember that.
All right.
His robes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
They needed cleaning.
They did need cleaning. All right. Let's move on. My God, 30 minutes in. Let's do this. Jesus.
I'll try and be fast.
Should we take a quick break or have Brian cram in his...
Cram, what are you doing?
I'll try and be fast. I saw a 100% movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
So you love it.
It was
You just saw
fantastic.
Fast
It
X?
was amazing. Yeah. I saw it twice. It added up to 100. I saw...
20.
It's not bad. I saw a film nominated for Best Documentary talking about To Kill a Tiger. To Kill a Tiger is finally streaming somewhere on Netflix. Do you know when it dropped on Netflix?
On the Oscars.
Oscar Day,
Yes.
the day of the Oscars. I finally caught up with it. 2023 film directed by Nisha Pahuja. It is streaming on Netflix, like I said, nominated for Best Documentary. Full disclosure, Anderson,
Yes.
this is produced by a very good friend of mine, but I promise to be objective in my evaluation. It's the best movie I've ever seen. It's very good. So you might think this is heavy subject.
better than Bobby?
Do you know it? It's very different.
Okay.
Bobby's like fun. I found Bobby fun. I don't know about you.
Not about fun. All right, we'll get to Bobby in a minute.
So do you know anything about the movie?
I read about it and decided that I wasn't going to watch it because it wasn't streaming anywhere. Yeah.
It's also a very heavy subject matter.
Yes.
A young girl, like 13, is gang raped by 3 of her co-villagers in rural India. And her father, instead of rolling over, as is sort of
The custom.
the custom, he's
What's
like,
expected.
no, fuck these people and take them to court and make sure they get punished. And the system of legally punishing or exonerating, the legal system over there is not set up to deliver justice, it turns out.
What part of the world is this again?
Oh, fuck. Avery, can you verify? I'm pretty sure it's India. Shit, I'm going to feel like an idiot if it's not. I'm pretty sure it's India, though.
And the appropriate term rather than gang rape is she got the accused.
Venezuela.
Oh, I didn't see that
Was it
coming.
really? No.
No, it's India.
So, yeah, she after a wedding, she was taken by these 3 boys. I guess they're like...
At her wedding?
At a wedding where they were guests. She was dragged out.
How old was she?
13.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Bad situation.
Oh,
Bad
I forgot. Okay.
What?
I foolishly tried to watch Perfect Days with the wife.
Oh, God. I can't
And
imagine.
I told her, hey,
Wow.
look, it's going to be,
Imagine less of a Jillian
I
movie.
have to watch this movie. I would like to spend time with you. I haven't spent time with you like all week.
And you used the
We're-
Japan angle.
We're about to go to Tokyo. It takes place in Tokyo. She watched half of it. When she left for good, her quote was, "This movie is hideously boring." That was her quote. Hideously. I'd never heard that term before. Associated with boredom. Hideously boring, yeah. I said, all right, hon, I'll catch you.
Back to Let's Kill a Tiger. So the idea is that the only chink in the armor I have for this movie
No,
is...
this was in India.
Sorry. The only crack in the armor
Avery,
I
you
have
can't
for
do
this
that.
film is
Do
that
what?
I could have used, as a Westerner, as an ignorant white man, I could have used a little more context as to how the customs work over there. Like, for example, it is said more than once by more than one person, the solution, like, should be, just have the girl marry one of the guys and all is good. Because apparently, once you rape someone, like, if you end up having a marriage with them, then all is forgiven. So that is referred to many times. Like, hey, here's the easy solution.
Now you're on the same team, so it's not.
Yeah, but like retroactive. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
retroactive,
just have
like-
them marry now and it'll be all good.
What about the other 2 guys?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, what's gonna happen to the other 2 guys?
This is ugly, ugly stuff.
It is icky in a lot of ways. That said, once it gets away from the heinousness of the crime and into the dad's dogged pursuit of the legal system, the movie sings, and you really are rooting for this dad. Like, the movie's about the dad, you know what I mean? Like, for obvious reasons, I think the filmmakers wanted to make this young girl the focus of the movie.
Want
It's
to be
about
fair
her
to her.
dad's dogged pursuit of justice.
Did it get into why he was kind of one of the only first people to do this? Did he have any kind of legal background? Or?
I think no.
Did he watch Madlock a lot?
Not at all. He is a poor farmer. At a certain time, you see him in a rice paddy with a backhoe, just like slopping mud. You know what I mean? Like he's at the bottom of the food chain, cultural, I guess you would say out there.
Caste
But-
system.
Caste
There
system.
you go. But he's a very blue collar worker, working his bare feet deep in the mud. But he is doggedly
Yeah.
like
mad as hell.
He's dogmatically attached to this idea of justice. Right.
Right.
He's like we
That
can't
came
get
from somewhere though, because I mean, for generations,
but-
forever. Like
so I
it's-
think what happens, and they don't do the intro, like it starts off on square two. There's a organization out there in India who's like, yes, this is our mission. We will find cases like this and make sure they are brought to justice. So I think
is it a big problem?
apparently 90% of the rapes out there go unreported.
No, but
and
I'm-
apparently every 20 minutes a girl is raped.
So it's a problem.
And you have to
part of that-
imagine it's not in fucking New Delhi or, you know what I mean? It's not in like the big cities. It's
Yeah.
in the rural areas.
I wonder if they're brought to justice in the big
So
cities.
consolidate those into these smaller areas. This is a huge problem.
I got a lot
In
of
fact,
questions.
There was even a moment where there's a village. I'll call him a village elder. He's like 50, but he's like one of like the I could have used a little more context of how shit works, but he's kind of like the spokesman of the village. And at one point, he's like begrudgingly admitting to the camera, like, yeah, he stopped short of saying boys will be boys, but he's like, these kids, if they committed the crime, they gotta face punishment. It's unfortunate because maybe they'll turn their lives around or whatever. And you get a glimpse, and you're like, I bet that fucking dude either raped someone himself or was party to one of these.
Right.
It's so common out there, and it's so
It's normalized.
it's part of life. Like, oh yeah, I imagine the majority of women in this village were a victim of sexual assault. So back to this organization. They work with the dad. They got a prosecutor. The legal system is very convoluted.
This does
but
not seem fun.
No.
It's not fun, but it's compelling. You're
It sounds
rooting for
compelling,
the
yeah,
dad.
yeah,
You're
it
like,
sounds-
I would like justice to be brought.
Do you see the animals that did it?
And they blur out their faces, and there's the lights. Like they're the kind of thing where it's like the camera person is shooting them as they're led. Interesting, not in handcuffs, in like a noose around their arms. You know what I mean? Like someone's holding a noose,
Right, like a leash.
around their arms, and the kids are saying something along the lines of, "Wait till this is all over, and then you'll see what happens to your camera." Like they're like,
Oh, like,
they're waiting
like
to get
punk.
off. They're like, yeah, once we beat this, we're gonna.
They're like
kick your
badass
ass."
ruffians.
It's
Are
not
they
good.
kids themselves?
They're like 17.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting. So it's just like kids running wild, like almost like
Yes,
Lord of the
complete
Flies.
lack of
Suburbia.
accountability. Yeah.
Huh. I wonder, I'm trying to grapple and wrap my mind around like where this custom or not. And I don't think custom is the right word. And I don't want to
How
speak out of
things
turn.
are
But,
done?
but yeah, how things are done or not done. And
Protocol?
it's almost like the Mary thing makes me think it's almost like deep denial. Like it hurts so
Yes.
much. It's so upsetting. They almost got to turn a blind eye and let's pretend it never happened. Just wash it over with like
That's
marriage.
a lot of that.
Uh,
And
And we take a lot of, our justice system for granted out here. And, as fucked up as it is, we're not dealing with.
you see the
Jesus.
defense attorney, and she's a fucking delight. And then you see the dad of one of the kids. He actually talks on camera, and he's like, "Come on, these kids won't do that again." It's like, this is not a defense.
They won't do that again?
Yeah,
They learned the
that's
lesson.
defense. It's like they're not going to do this
Okay,
again.
let's get off this.
There was no argument that this thing happened. It was more like, what's going to be done about it? There was a lot of like, it's a village matter. Let the villagers take care of it. You know what I mean?
Yes, that sounds
Anyway,
awful.
Sorry, it's a really good movie, you guys. Don't let the subject matter scare you away. It is a little icky at times, but
A little.
watching this dad just bulldoggedly go after justice is inspiring.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like the kind of movie I would respond to angrily. But yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
100% right, man.
So you have to love it. Hey, let's take a quick break.
You have to love it.
Let's come back and talk Love Lies Bleeding, which is, I don't know, a more film vault type movie that's available this year in theaters right now.
Welcome back. Time to talk a little Love Lies.
Love
Bleeding.
Lies Bleeding. I'm going to have to
Love
take the camera
Lies.
off you, Brian.
Lot of
And just
L's.
a little more about
Lot of L's there.
Dune 2. I mean, the way...
Oh, we're going back to Dune.
And it's I don't know if it's fair or not. It's the way that I approach things, though. And like, if you're like a really cool guy and I like you a lot, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with you, and then I find out that like maybe you're kind of a racist. It's like, shit. That sucks. He
You
was
look
so
like-
so
look-
close to perfection.
You look Miami Vice right now. You
Yeah, I got the
white
Miami Vice.
blazer, you got the glasses on top.
I got a Miami Vice look going.
Got
Yes.
scruff.
My wife told me all about the absurd choice that I made when I bought this jacket.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good jacket.
She told me I can't wear it in public.
Listen.
I haven't worn it once. I bought it like 3 months ago. And she's like, you can't wear that. You look like you're serving bread at a restaurant.
I don't.
It's a white linen blazer,
No.
and I think it looks cool.
It's not nice enough to be doing that. But that
What
said,
a dick.
no, I'm saying that is a good jacket. The black is not a good choice. But when you like it's summertime and it's nice weather and the sun's out,
monochromatic, black
and you got to
tie.
go to some afternoon
Shirtless,
cocktail
right? Shirtless?
function. What?
Shirtless?
No, I would
Oh.
go with like a blue, light blue, or like royal blue, possibly gray.
It's not what the show's about. Let's talk about. So yeah, that's
Don't
my
take
problem.
on my camera.
That's my problem with Love Lies Bleeding is I like it so much. Not Love Lies Bleeding. Dune 2.
Dune 2.
It was so close to perfection.
Just leave it on me.
Perfection. All right, we're getting Avery the camera.
Just gonna clip it on.
Yeah, I think that's how it's supposed to go. All right, Avery. Christ.
Perfect.
almighty.
It's perfect.
It's not though. All
Oh
right,
wait, do this.
there we go.
All right.
There we
Here
go.
we go. All right, you're on. Let's talk Love Lies Bleeding.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Take it away.
Otherwise known as the better Drive Away Dolls.
It's it's similar. Drive Away Dolls and what was the other one? That
Iron Claw, I said.
Yeah, Iron Claw, little Iron Claw because of
I'm
her.
drinking Iron Claw right now.
So, go ahead, take it away. Can you do that? Can you take it away, or you can't take it away?
It was good.
You're the host of the show.
That's a good point.
But my internet's
Look-
not working.
Look
Your
how it
internet's not
falls
working?
apart
No.
without me. Give me the camera.
Internet is
Give me
not
the camera.
working.
Oh boy.
Love Lies Bleeding is a 2024 film.
Yes, that's true.
It's a 2024 film. It is directed by Rose Glass. It is written by Rose Glass, starring Anna Baryshnikov, Kristen Stewart, Dave Franco, and how could they leave out the Katie O'Brien, the star of the show? It is about gym manager Lou falls for Jackie, a bodybuilder who is passing through town en route to a competition in Vegas.
No, I think I actually confused this with Driveway Dolls. So this is Love Lies Bleeding with Kristen Stewart.
Yes.
Got it.
The worst thing about this movie is the title. If this should have been called Drive Away Dolls.
Oh, I think it
Because
was
the best
taken.
part of
I
Drive
feel
Away
like-
Dolls is the
I
title.
feel like it was taken, but here we are.
Love Lies Bleeding is a terrible title for an enjoyable film.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I'll look this up. But was Love Lies Bleeding the title of the fake movie in the last Final Destination?
Unclear. Anderson has no thoughts on this film.
I have no thoughts on this film. So this movie it feels like it's from the 90s from the beginning. And
Yes.
I really appreciate the look of it, the feel of it.
It's gritty. It's grainy.
It's gritty, and the whole movie is just dirty. Everyone in the movie needed to take a shower.
Oh yeah, Dave Franco's such a piece of shit. It's
I needed
great.
to take a shower when the movie was over because
Yes.
it was filthy. Oh, Christ. Stupid. And, okay, there's some filthy sex scenes in this movie.
Yes.
And I'm actually watching this movie
Sorry,
going,
what's it called?
Love Lies Bleeding. I can't wait for this moment here to talk to you guys about it
Yes.
and read the parent guide
Oh.
for the sex scenes. And boy, maybe because it's too new, boy, am I disappointed.
It might be too
Yeah,
new.
it has to hit home video.
Sex and nudity on a scale of like, mild to severe,
Yeah.
it's moderate, which is
Moderate.
shocking.
How's that possible?
And there's only one entry so far on the IMDb
Oh,
parent
there's
guide.
multiple entries.
And it says, man and woman have sex in a car, no nudity. 2 females have multiple sex scenes. 1 has graphic language.
I'm listening.
And there is some nudity, but not a ton, I guess.
It's a lot of it's what's implied, and it is it's graphic. There's a lot of
This-
bodily fluids in this.
The whole movie just feels icky, but not in a necessarily gratuitous way.
No,
A
it,
couple
it
times.
feels appropriate. And you're also, it's weird because you're not rooting for anyone, but you also don't hate everyone either.
You don't hate everyone, and it
They feel weirdly real because of that. It's completely far-fetched, and there's a lot of surreal elements that I really enjoyed. But it feels like everybody's grounded in their world and believable in their world.
yeah, it's well constructed. And I don't know if you saw Titan from a
did
couple
not.
years ago, the Parisian film. It feels similar to that. I think it's Parisian. It's a French film. It feels similar to that. And about halfway through the movie, I realized
Love Lays Dying in Final Destination 5.
what just happened.
Close, but not so go.
Was that the fake movie that they're going to see?
It's the Final Destination is Love Lays Dying.
Love Lies Dying. I did not realize.
Important interjection. Carry on.
I did not pick up on the fact that this was a comedy until about halfway through the movie. This is definitely a comedy.
Oh, you weren't sitting next to the fuck next to me. He was watching this like it was Wes Anderson.
Oh, was he laughing throughout?
So this was very stylized. So there were a lot of montages done over music, which I thought were very effective and cool and very A24. And one of which, Kristen Stewart, they start hooking up and she tries to make her breakfast.
I want to see how deep I can go.
And next time, the bodybuilder, she goes, next time, make it just egg whites. And then later on, about 5 minutes later, there's this cool montage done over some like 80s synth music, very stylized, very cool. And at one point during it, you see Kristen Stewart mixing eggs. And she's removing the egg yolks, and it's almost done in slow motion. The guy next to me, screaming with laughter.
Yeah.
Screaming.
I hate those people. Performative.
And he was doing this throughout he was dying for a spot to laugh, and there were so many spots to laugh.
Have you seen?
Why do you need, he was dumpster diving for laughs when the whole thing, most of it is funny.
There's a lot of
there's a place to really laugh.
There's a lot of very small funny moments and funny throughout, which I did not realize. Also, here's a big thumbs up for this movie, which is I had to pee. As I often do when I'm drinking a lot of coffee before I get there and then drinking the Diet Coke when I'm in there.
I thought it was just pee.
No great place to pee in this movie. And that's a really good sign of a really tight narrative, a really well-told story. Like, there's no good... I did find one place to pee. Didn't pee. And I'm like, I should have peed there. I felt like that was a good place to pee. And that's when an ex-girlfriend comes back into her life for a moment and some talk. And I think that was probably the place that I could have.
It's got a little No Country in it for me, too.
It does.
Wow.
And this Katie O'Brien, I don't know if it's me and I've just been missing her, but she's great.
She hasn't been in a ton of stuff. She was in an episode of, I think it was Mandalorian. Do you remember? Fuck, it was such a throwaway season. I'm not even in ballot.
The most recent one.
She hasn't been in a ton of things.
Yeah, she's in Ant-Man. She's in Z Nation, which I have not seen.
Oh,
Bri, you're so.
But she was great.
I can give this a recommend. I mean, it's no Dune 2, but this is a very well told story. But you got to have a certain wherewithal to be able to enjoy a movie like this.
It's a dark comedy.
It's grimy. It's a dark comedy. A few lesbians in my theater loved it because this is a very strong lesbian story.
Yeah, I would say about half. It seemed like half my crowd was LGBTQIA+.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I guess it's being marketed that way, or maybe the word's just out.
I think the word is out
because I didn't even think.
And
of it
this is also like we saw it early, I think, because it goes wide this week, right?
Oh, does it go wide? Good.
I think it was limited when we saw it, so that would also explain why you'd kind of be more in the know and it'd be more
Are there any
LGBTQ friendly.
Good males in this? I think they're all like every male. There's not that ton of guys, but they are all like pretty much just awful people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any.
I can't believe this wasn't Florida. This is a very Florida.
Maybe
type movie.
the FBI. They're doing their job. They're not bad guys.
They're not terrible guys, yeah. But I like this movie. But it's look, you're gonna feel like you need to take a shower afterwards.
You definitely are.
Yeah.
This felt more Coen Brothers than fucking Drive Away Dolls. This is what I was hoping to get out of it.
I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if that's fair to expect that out of Ethan, who is the fluffier of the two.
I know. I was expecting that.
This
double
one,
whammy.
This one felt a little Ari Aster at times, even. With
with the surreal stuff.
The surreal stuff.
A lot of times that takes me out. It really worked for me in this, where it kept you guessing, especially with the flashbacks and the shot of the crevasse and all that. Where you're like, what are they showing me? What is this for?
Tight.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I thought, based on the trailer, Ed Harris would be way too much with how ridiculous he looks, but it works.
It did. I mean, there was a couple things where it's like, did we need to see him eat the bug? I mean, it's like too much. But
for the most part, he was much more grounded than I thought he would be.
This could have been like an R-rated She-Hulk episode.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. How much of those muscles are real? They're all real.
She's a bodybuilder, yeah. She was. So there was like a press release that Kristen Stewart was attached to this movie and the little log line for what it would be. And Katie O'Brien immediately on Twitter posted photos of herself. Was like, I'm perfect for this part. Cast me, and that's how she got the part.
Wow, and she was great too. I saw her in the trailer. I didn't recognize her as somebody I'd seen before, and I thought, okay, well, she's probably not going to have a lot to do because she has such a particular look. There's no way she's going to be able to pull her weight, especially with Kristen Stewart, who's a pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of opinions about there. I think Kristen Stewart.
This is the best I've seen her.
If she's cast right, I think she's
good. She did a phenomenal job in this.
She was like an angsty teenage boy in this movie.
Yes,
right? who had hopes and dreams and wanted to do more with her life, but she's kind of stuck. I like this. I like this. It's what you would call a tight little narrative, right?
And her ex is one of the just sad, dumb people. One of the most punchable people you'll ever.
She was so from a Larry Clark movie.
Oh God,
she was great though.
With the meth teeth and the
hour and 44 minutes.
Oh, I highly recommend this. This is a 4-star film for me.
If we were doing a spoiler, I've got a big question about one of the scenes, but I guess I can't get there.
I'll see it.
That's the meth, right?
Hey, are we seeing Cabrini?
That's the meth girl.
Yeah. I was impressed by how well they nailed the tone that the ending that rolls over the credits was effective. I bought it. And it was very hard to pull that off. And it was cute, and you were almost happy that it happened.
I like this movie. I do. I like
Anderson, are we seeing Cabrini?
I have no intention of seeing it right now, but that could change. Okay.
And dare I say, this was decently high on the fun scale.
Who was it? I guess it was the grandma. It was like she was constantly ushering the children away, just like yelling things as she leaves. There was a lot of very quiet, funny moments that were kind of like they weren't in your face at all.
Oh my God, Dave Franco at the Chinese restaurant.
There was skull
touching
crushing.
my dick in public.
That was a little much.
Dave was having fun.
There's skull crushing.
Skull crushing.
If you consider the jaw part of the skull, I guess you would, right?
Yeah.
Like if you bought a skull on Amazon and they sent it to you without a jaw, you'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Incomplete.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, incomplete.
It was graphic.
Very, very graphic, Brian.
Oh my!
Exceptionally graphic.
There was some inappropriate laughter in my theater about that.
I may have.
No, but it was right away. It was like right away.
I think.
Anderson giggled.
Yeah.
It was graphic. A lot of carpets being used.
Okay. It was shot in New Mexico, and it also had a little
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad vibes. For
Yeah.
sure. A little Breaking.
I could see this being an alternate storyline.
So yeah, Love Lies Bleeding, one of the better films of 2024
Absolutely.
so far.
I would definitely recommend this.
Brian, I was hoping you had seen it.
And fun watching theaters for sure. I think this is.
Well, not next to your guy.
Yeah, I mean my guy sucked,
Red Light
but
is not on.
I think this is one of those movies where it is heightened by. I feel like dark comedies, especially, are often heightened by having an audience.
Oh, Avery was not in frame. That none of that worked. You're off camera, and the camera's broken. Cool.
Well, now it's broken. It was working.
All right.
Hey, should we do Bobi Wine real quick before we jump into Big Sexy?
Let's do that. Why is it not working? Why?
It was on for a second.
Just now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, technical difficulty.
It was on when you plugged it in. There it is.
All right, cool. I'll find it. Sorry, Avery, you weren't on there. Your beautiful face was not on there.
Not needed.
All right.
We don't want to give the ladies too much.
Oh, the bodybuilding scene or the competition. Oh,
yeah. It was so well done too. Like you were off balance. You weren't sure what was going on. You were rooting for it, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff. It's good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Very fun. Yeah, and really effective, stylized, surrealist filmmaking.
It's kind of
feel like this.
It's kind of like what I thought Men would be, but a lot more going on.
Oh, Men the movie.
Yeah.
It's a tough
and I don't say that only because of the puking scene. There was
I never saw Men. It didn't sound appealing.
It is unfun. It's exceptionally low in the fun scene.
It seemed that way. It seemed that way.
All right, let's move on to Bobby.
Bobby Wine, the
Hey, Bobby.
people's president. Bobby Wine, the people's president.
You got
This
it.
is a 2023 documentary directed by Christopher Sharp and Moises
Alou.
Moises Alou, that's right. Moses Buayo. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Disney Plus is where you can stream this.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Wine streaming for Disney Plus, also nominated for Best Documentary at this year's Oscars.
Tell you what, they missed out. They should have added up for best song because that song rules.
Dude, there's a lot of good songs.
This is a message to the government expressing what's exactly on the
Oh, that's rule.
people's mind.
Is he for the people?
He really is for the people. He's still president.
What's so weird is watching this movie. We'll get into it in a second. I'm watching it late at night, and the subject matter is so hard hitting and devastating in so many ways because of the injustice going on with the political system over there. Yet I just wanted to be on vacation because of the music. The music just makes me want to be like on a sandy beach somewhere.
You want a pina colada?
And I kept feeling so guilty. I'm like, what are you doing? Wanting to go on vacation when
They're suppressed.
His music, it makes me want to be free.
Like, where are the board charts?
Avery, what do you know about Bobby Wine? Have you ever heard of Bobby Wine?
Next to nothing.
Okay.
I like his
Bobby
last name.
Wine is sort of the Justin Timberlake or like Jay-Z. Is it Uganda?
That's how they. Yeah, it's Uganda.
Those are very different figures.
Well, they set him
He's
up as
a
a pop
big
star. He's a
pop
big
star.
pop star.
He's
He's
a
about
big
as
pop
big as
star.
you can be in Uganda, and
Yes.
he's from Uganda. He's never left Uganda other than like tours, and like he represents Uganda's pop culture.
He's there like Beyonce.
At least that's
Okay.
what we're
Yeah.
led to believe. I can't substantiate any of this. I
cannot
can't fact check
corroborate
this. Yeah.
That's it. He is a man who he makes songs, makes tunes, makes occasionally political tunes.
Yes.
And such to the point where it's like get these people out of office. We have term limits. You know what I mean? You're only allowed to be president for so long. This guy's been president for 30 years.
35 years, and they're trying. And the guy that's president, who continues to win because they don't have a 2-term limit, they're actually
No,
trying.
they do, and he's defying it.
They're having an age limit, and now he's getting close to the age limit because he's been there for 35 years. The guy
yes,
that's
that's
in
right,
office,
that's right.
so they're trying to change their constitution so that he can. There is no age limit. And he can continue to be president, and then it's one of those things where they have a free democracy, but we learn pretty quickly that it's not that free,
Yeah,
and it's not
like
that honest.
Putin winning 90% of the vote.
So the movie is just following Bobi Wine and his cabinet.
Well,
or
Bobby's
his,
like, fuck this guy. I'm running for president.
yeah, even
Which
though,
is not a smart political move.
well, it's not a smart life move.
Not a smart lifestyle
Right, because
move.
you know he's probably going to be in danger.
In peril.
And I'm always a little bit leery of
Worked out for Reagan.
people who want to be in office, especially if they're already a pop star. It's like, okay, this guy's probably some kind of a megalomaniac. He wants everybody. Like I was even I don't even want to talk about Navalny, but I don't even know, if
Zelensky's a better comparison.
so I was kind of doing that with like Bobby. Is like, is this guy like, why is he doing this? Is it for the good of the people, or is it is it for his own self-aggrandizing? Like, why is he doing this? And then you learn, and they don't make a big thing of it either. And you got to be paying attention to kind of catch this brief exchange where they're talking about how he and his wife met. He was already a pretty big pop star at that time. And they started dating, and they were dating for a little while. He
But
really
she
liked
was
her.
from an upper crust family, but he didn't know that.
And she didn't know that he was a pop star, and then she learned that after. So it wasn't like he was out there boasting and using this to like get in girls' pants and things. So right there, okay, this guy's most likely a pretty quality human being, right? He's on the up and up. And
Of course, it's a
that went
very
a long way.
friendly narrative to Bobby, but that said, as much as I can ascertain, he comes across a decent,
A genuinely decent guy, yeah. And that would have actually, if there were some, moments of him kind of losing his shit or that would have, I don't know if they would have pulled that from the documentary. I think they would have left that in there to give him even more depth. And I think that so much goodwill was built in with his storyline. We as an audience could have accepted that. They didn't have that in there. And I don't know if he really does have that. He seems like he got beaten down a few times and was very like down and downtrodden.
Poison
crestfallen.
comes in the picture.
But he just, you're rooting for this guy.
At one point, he's doing a live interview on his phone with like CNN or something. Like, in America, they're like, hey, tell us what's going on there. He's like, we're being oppressed, blah, blah. And literally during the interview,
He's like, as you can see, I'm being arrested right
dragged
now.
out of his car by the military.
Oh my God.
They have, and the mayor of the town who was openly opposed to them changing the constitution so that there would be no age limit for the president any longer. Like he was giving an interview, and the documentary camera crews were behind the news camera crews, and it comes out and it was like jarring. It was like a jump scare. He's talking, and then all of a sudden he just gets bum rushed by these military police who just. And it was so scary and sad because that guy's like all confident.
He was
he's the
away.
mayor, and he's like saying, I don't believe, and I'm doing it. It is concerning. They do have people around my home here, and as soon as he gets grabbed,
he wasn't saying anything remarkably controversial.
no,
Like
but
burn down the government.
as soon as he got grabbed, and it was so blatant, right on camera, and you can see and hear the fear, and he starts saying, "Please, please," like he's begging. I don't know what happened to that guy. I would have liked them to follow up and make
Last
sure the
time we
mayor.
saw.
Mayor gets out of jail. But yeah, you really brought things into focus too, as just being like, a Westerner who barely pays attention. And like, if I have Al Jazeera on in the background sometimes, just if I'm doing work, just to try and, access real news or what's happening like in other parts of the world.
News.
And you hear these things like, because of oppression, and like Bobi Wine who is a presidential candidate, has been jailed. And like, you hear these things and you have an idea of what's going on, and you fill it in, but
you know real context.
This movie really gave some interesting
behind the
context
scenes,
in this particular storyline. So it makes you realize that these little sound bites, obviously you don't get the idea of what's really happening. And if you're like me and you're jaded and you think that a lot of shit out there is bullshit, it's like, well, is that really what's going on, or is that to like make me believe this? I don't believe anything. But you can't help but believe what you see in this documentary, even though it's obviously
Again, it's very friendly to him, but it feels okay. There's a difference between it's biased clearly towards him, but it feels fair. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel as though they cooked a lot. Maybe I'm ignorant.
And there's definitely a possibility, a world where they cooked this whole thing, and he actually was trying to grab power to do something nefarious.
Trying to sell more.
The guy that was the president that's been there for 35 years is a fun-loving, nice
beloved.
guy. Yeah.
Although the part where he's talking to camera and I wrote it down. He blames the opposition and homosexuals for all the political violence.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, the problem
they
is,
did show that.
is the other side and all the homosexuals. Like,
I forgot about that.
That is
because I'm like, so far,
I was not prepared for.
I'd be buying this guy. Like, if I didn't know any better and I'm just watching the regular news over there, I'm like, and then he pulled out the
actual president.
Yeah, for 35-year-long president. You know, that's accepted in many, many countries and many cultures still. It's just like, oh, well, yeah, it's the gays and the homosexuals who are the problem. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay, so I can see.
I backed off quite a bit at that point.
But you know what? They didn't get into, and I would have, this is a part of the movie that I would have liked to have seen, is just to hear from some of that president's supporters.
Yeah, you never really, I mean.
And he did have angry mobs who were on his side in the streets, and those were just people. They weren't paid, unless they were. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people.
I would have liked to have heard from them.
He clearly got a lot of votes, regardless. You know
whether it's cooked or not. Yeah, he did get a lot of votes, and I would have liked to have seen Bobby try to. There was a scene where Bobby's like looking at the military police who are about to do him harm, most likely, and he's like, "I'm not mad at them because they're like me, and they're just trying to get by, and they're going to see. They will see." But he never got to have that dialogue with them. I would have liked to have say like, "Look, just stand tight. Don't do anything dumb. Once I'm president, it's all going to be better. Trust me." Come on.
That's it. Did it remind you, as I said, did me of Street Fight? The
I kept hearing you.
There are a lot of dirty tricks and muscles being flexed.
This is the gloves off version of Street Fight, which I thought Street Fight was a gloves off version of politics.
This is a shoes off version.
Far more. I saw you make that react. I saw you think of that joke, and then go, shouldn't say that, and then you just spit it out. I saw you react negatively to your joke that you.
If you just let it go, it would have been fun. But now we're lampshading it.
I love that Street Fight. This one is similar, but much more hardcore. Yeah, like this kind of
higher stakes.
Higher stakes. Yeah.
Also, can you see now why I was like, 20 Days of Mariupol, a really good documentary, favorite for the Oscar.
This would be considered fun in that pool.
This would have been like a fun alternative, though, like streaming on Netflix. I could see it,
What's shocking is he never just got popped off. Like he was standing on trucks, driving through. There, so many military police could have.
Chances.
They could have, and that's another thing that got me thinking.
Like you can't.
They could have.
They could, but
they could have said it was a stray bullet or one of his own people.
But I'm saying the civil unrest that it seems like that would cause if you kill a figure that big.
I don't know. I mean, they thought about it. They talked about it. Like, should we just pop this guy off? Yeah, I'm sure it was on the table. And I'm kind of surprised that it didn't happen. Happy it didn't happen. But
Dune, don't tell me you don't want to make martyrs.
We're an hour into the movie.
Maybe
we're an hour into the show. Do you want to talk about Lake Changjin?
We have to. We have to. Let's do it.
How do you spell this so I can add this in the show?
You can look it up on the old IMDb there. The Battle at Lake.
It's the highest grossing Chinese film of all time. I imagine it'd be easy to find.
I found it.
This is a movie made by how many directors? 6.
I'll get there.
All right.
I only saw 3.
6.
Is it 3?
There's 3 more that are uncredited.
What are there 3 that they translated in English? Like
I don't think
3, but like a Chinese name and an English name.
No.
Battle at Lake Changjin. It's a 2021 film directed by, according to my research, Chen Keg, Tsui Hark, and Dante Lam. Do you have more names?
It's refreshing.
Okay. Criminally, 36% of Rotten Tomatoes. Higher on the fun scale than you would imagine.
Only 11 ratings, though.
That's true.
We got Jiang Huang, Hai Kwang Ning, and Ju Chun Park, also co-directors. 3 co-directors when you go to the
six auteurs saw this to the big screen. You can rent this on Prime. if you're so inclined.
Streaming on YouTube as
Only $2 on Prime.
It is the
it's free on
highest
YouTube.
grossing Chinese film of all time. $913 million.
one of the best Korean War movies I've ever seen.
I was just actually going to say, because I did the research there's a lot of time in this movie to let the mind wander.
This costs more than Dune.
And I'm thinking to myself, the Korean War, not really well represented.
No,
in
Eric and I
the
were talking
film.
about that for a while because it's sandwiched in
Oh,
between.
yeah, sorry, there's a sign to us.
Eric Robbins. It was sandwiched in between World War II, which gets rightfully so quite
Sure.
a bit of
My
airtime.
God. Hey, Spielberg, fucking make a movie of the Korean War.
And then we got the baby boomers, who their war was the Vietnam Wars, right? So
Which again, more culturally impactful than Korea.
Korean War kind of gets left in the dust there.
I think the most I've seen it is like in Mad Men with Don Draper going over there.
It's not portrayed in very many movies.
Was that one with
Dick Whitman.
Michael J. Fox? Casualties of War? That might have been Korean War.
No, that was also
Vietnam for sure. All right. Okay, let's go.
Where do I go with this? So delightfully, this is dubbed,
Yeah, there's no subtitled version that we could find.
which really added to the experience. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I kept thinking of the American actors who were just completely selling out their own country, reading the lines.
Are they American?
I got a part.
That's
Or
the question I
Canadian.
want to know.
They didn't have accents. Is that what you're going for?
I
If
think
they're
they
Chinese,
they might have been European,
maybe doing American. Maybe.
like Eastern Bloc, Russian.
Look, there's some fun to be had in this movie.
There's a lot of fun.
I don't know if a lot of fun. This is the one that I was actually thinking
don't
might
know?
be. If there's a lot of fun, because this movie is all spectacle. Like there is no feel in
So
this
this movie is if Michael Bay got drunk on soju,
or if this was his first movie.
there's a Michael Bay hero shots in this.
A lot.
Like, can we start off? Why was this assigned to us?
That's a good question.
Because Eric Robbins paid the money.
Is he Chinese?
No, I mean, like, what was Eric's
Eric
motivation?
goes to China quite a bit. He has contacts. He's been over there quite a bit. The reason why he's familiar with this movie is somebody sent him a subtitled version some time ago. So he saw this when it first came out, and he found many interesting things. I find this movie very interesting. While we maybe didn't get a whole lot out of watching it, we should at least be aware of it and talk about it because it is such a culturally large movie.
Oh yeah, worldwide, this is one of the biggest movies ever made.
Yeah. Even though it is a propaganda movie, and don't get this I hear this the wrong way. I understand that many of the war films that we see here, Top Gun.
Oh yeah, Top Gun.
What was the quote from a filmmaker that you can't make a war movie without glamorizing war?
Right.
It's part.
Or without it being propaganda. Obviously, this was quite a bit of that, especially with the martyrdom that they
But this was
portray at
aggressive,
the
like
end.
financed by and produced by the Chinese government.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And Eric and I were talking about that too, because it made like $900 million or something, right? But like, who made that money? Because you're not allowed to make that money as an
Where does that
individual over
go?
there. So does that go back into the Chinese government? I don't know. Like, how does
I
that work?
imagine enrich some.
Then you could. Is there how are there other Chinese billionaires then?
I think that they're all like in the military somehow, though. I think, or they're like, work for the government somehow. I don't know if you can be an individual who makes. I don't know. I'm speaking out of turn.
I don't
know how it works, but communism has a cap, doesn't it? Like you're not allowed to be like the free market.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I know. Yeah, in principle how it works. I don't know how it works in China.
Okay.
That said, it's a huge movie. So here we are. So I don't want to just unnecessarily shit on this movie because it is amateurishly made in certain respects, and the effects are, considering everything is made in China or Korea, the effects are atrocious. Like
I wouldn't say atrocious, but I mean they're like Universal Studio ride level, or like a plane is shot down,
I think we're saying the same thing.
and then the plane is now going over like, the platoon that is still like on the battlefield, but it's going at a very slow. It's an actual plane, but it's going exceptionally slow because it's on wires and stuff, and they're all like reacting to this slow moving plane.
Yeah.
But it's not like Ed Wood bad. It's you can
no.
see the money on the screen.
It's 17-year-old Michael Bay bad. Like if this was his first movie.
We said an earthquake.
No, that was the door.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like early Michael Bay, but with a giant budget, right?
Fuck
it's
yeah.
interesting. And Eric and I were talking about, like, is this, like, he thinks that there might be more. I guess there's a sequel to this one as well, which I'm going to run out and see immediately. But is this, like...
if this wasn't 245 minutes, this would be a perfect
are we going to see
watch.
other giant Chinese movies? Because obviously they have enough people over there to make the movie work. And I would imagine that many Chinese people responded very positively to this movie.
Oh, sure. This is a flag waving, like you would say, jingoistic movie.
There's a scene in there, Avery. You saw Band of Brothers, right?
Yes.
It was straight out of Band of Brothers. Where
There's a lot. Okay.
There's a scene, a very particular scene where they just won a big battle and they're all excited and they finally get like the number one company, which is like, badasses, and they're like known for being bad, much like Band of Brothers.
The SEAL team.
And they've been in there for like maybe they have like half a day off and they're finally getting some R&R, and then because they're so good, like the commanders come in and say, "Sorry boys, but you're needed now in the front. You got to get back out there." And they're like. It is what it is. Let's do it, boys. Let's go. I'm like, I saw the exact same thing.
Let's back up a step, because what you said is correct. This movie has wild tonal shifts.
Yeah.
Like there is
the
a
brother.
solid.
The brother was terrible.
So we opened with an officer leaving home, and his brother, who is, I'll say, inspired by Simple Jack, with the haircut and the demeanor and the intellect.
I think he's just supposed to be uneducated.
He stows away because he wants to be a war hero like his older brother.
He feels like an anime character, doesn't he? Like he would work in an
So Simple Jack stows away, and then there's a few minutes of light.
Simple Jackie Chan? No, you didn't say that.
That's good.
It's not good. That's really rude.
It's not bad.
It's terrible.
There's 45 solid minutes of mind-numbing violence.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing. Like you just get so
like,
bored. You get so bored with the spectacle. It's just nonstop. Like imagine going to Universal and the ride just doesn't stop. You're like, I get it. It's entertaining. I'm bored.
Imagine the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan minus any grit and like filtered through a video game.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little video game-less. Like
A little.
I had zero emotion as I'm watching this happen.
Really? Well, the head's getting exploded didn't make
Nothing.
your stomach churn?
Nothing. Yeah, it's like watching somebody else play a video game. Yeah, it's like watching somebody else play Call of Duty.
There was
For
a lot of
an hour and a half.
explosions. A lot.
The best.
But
And
then
I wish there was
after the 45 minutes, now we get the easy company as
Going
it were.
home, yeah.
Like now we get downtime, and that's when the movie sings. Because now it's like lush strings and like I always knew you'd make something of yourself.
the score was
It was
absolutely on point the entire movie. In case you had any, you could watch this with no subtitles and no dubbing and still know exactly how you're supposed to feel.
Yeah, Spielbergian.
no, don't insult the man.
Worse,
Well,
way
Avery,
worse.
it's-
If something was like goofy, you're knowing all about
I
it.
love the goofy music.
There's almost like it's almost like
horrible.
slide business, like
I think this is also made for perhaps like
the
a group
Franks
of people,
of China.
a group of people, a large
Chinese
group
Franks.
of a billion people who don't really get top end Western
That's
entertainment
fair.
delivered.
This is
because
for-
it's not allowed.
This is for people, I assume, in China who don't see a lot of Western movies.
Right. I don't think that they're. Maybe they censor everything.
They got Avatar. Avatar's better than this.
But let me tell you,
Oh, they got Avatar.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I know they don't get into the Marvel movies.
but I'm saying this is for an audience, a self-selected audience who doesn't go to the movie.
I'm saying all of China.
They get Fast and Furious.
Do they? No, they don't.
Listen to me.
Do
They
they?
do. Yeah.
This is not as good as Fast.
We are-
The Fast and Furious is not as good as this.
We are burying the lead because nothing in modern cinema, nay, the history of cinema, has delighted me. I found myself like tapping my imaginary watch during the battle scenes to get back to the American cutaways.
The American cutaways are great.
Fucking
And I think there's
awesome.
more gold
I've
than I might have
never
missed.
seen the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Really?
I laughed out loud
At what?
at the depiction of American soldiers. First of all, they all have like deep. Every American
They're
who
all Southern,
speaks,
yeah.
how about that?
I love
a
it.
deep South Louisiana accent. Like I was like, "Hey, we're gonna
I
get
wonder
them
if-
boys. I guarantee."
I want to hear what they actually sounded like, though,
love
because they
that.
were kind of dubbed too, weren't they?
They were kind of dubbed, which made me think they were European, right? They weren't like native English speakers.
So it's like a double impression. There's like two lenses of
Like
Chinese writing filtered through, and then European doing
and then every
American
time
accent.
they come back to Chairman Mao, he's like the gentlest, nicest guy.
Yeah,
in the world.
nicest guy. Just, yeah.
I don't want my soldiers in danger.
It's true. It's true. They made him seem like a teddy bear that you just like protect us, daddy. Protect us,
They come
kind,
back
sweet
to
daddy.
Douglas MacArthur, and he's like, "Hey, get them boys in there and fight. This war be over by Thanksgiving."
And he's such a second-rate actor. It's
They
very
always
sad.
have to mention Thanksgiving.
Okay, so speaking of
Is
Thanksgiving,
portrayed.
Oh, I know. They always.
there's a lot of confusion by the Chinese soldiers as to what
one
Christmas
point.
is.
Wait,
Yeah.
I think I've seen this clip on Reddit of them their portrayal of Thanksgiving. It's ridiculous, right?
It's opulent. The Thanksgiving is so
Yeah, and it goes from the Chinese troops toughing it out in the snow.
They're in the trenches.
eating frozen potatoes, and so happy that they have frozen
We're cutting
potatoes,
between
and then smash
the
cut.
Chinese forces like meagerly doling.
And I guess there's a thing in China. Eric was telling me there's a thing in China where once a year a bunch of people get together and they try and eat frozen potatoes. I don't know if it's once a year or maybe it's like something they do like. So yeah, they try and eat frozen potatoes because of this movie. Like this movie is.
Well, it's culturally relevant.
Yeah.
So we cut between the Chinese forces in the snow, like on a mountainside, like Lord of the Rings style, like traipsing through the snow and like rationing potatoes. Like, I'm good, you eat it.
And they're all being super kind to each other
Yeah,
too.
they're
Like,
all-
I don't need this
they're
half sliver of
rationing
potato. You can have
meager
it.
potatoes. And they're
Society of the Snow.
and then it cuts back to the American forces who are
Slop.
they're at Harry Potter style tables.
I have seen this clip.
No, it starts with them like with the trays. It was just
Overflowing
like, slopping on. Yeah.
Where did the food come from?
I need to watch this clip every Thanksgiving.
So I know there's some great American dialogue
And
in
then
there
it
that I
cuts back
missed.
to the Americans slopping their food.
Ah, Christ.
It is so
And they-
opulent.
and they don't care. They're taking it all for granted. They're kind of like being rude and bitching about being there. And then back to the Chinese soldiers
Guess
who
we're
are
not
just
going
like,
to be home on Thanksgiving, huh?
they're like just enjoying savoring their potato and
Yeah.
thanking each other for it. And at least we have this, and at least we
Here,
have each other.
you take mine.
And the Americans are just like, gotta get out of this shithole.
Just barrels full of mashed potatoes.
Now
Like
here's
their Cracker Barrel.
It's outrageous.
So this is the only dialogue that I really responded to, the only American dialogue, and I'm
really?
sure there's
I loved it.
I'm
I loved
sure
it.
there's some other stuff that was quote worthy in there, but the only one that I really caught and went back and wrote down word for word was this: they're on their way. It's like Thanksgiving, and they're on their way out to a battle. The Americans are, right, and we can hear. I don't think we even see it. It's not like over the shoulder or anything. It's just like they're all on jeeps and they're heading out, and you can hear this like it's coming from the group. You hear someone say, "Gonna make it back for chow time," and then somebody says, "Shut up, Costello. Costello, we're going to be lucky if they don't roast our turkeys for dinner. We'll be lucky if they don't roast our turkeys for dinner." Mm-hmm. That was a line that was written.
That's pretty good.
And I don't think it was written for laughs. I think it was written for like, this is American
I'm
talk.
telling you, man.
These are Americans
If
talking.
this movie was an hour and 44 minutes, I was about the 2 hours and 44 minutes, this would be a perfect.
If they cut out an hour and a half of the
watch-along.
action that was just really dull for the
Line
most part.
numb.
Yeah.
But it would be a great watch.
That one hero shot
I
where he
would
takes the
watch-
effect bomb and he puts it in the Jeep and he's like speeding down trying to, save
He's
his own.
driving away with the bomb.
And then they have like a suicide bomb at the end, which was, very like they really, as far as propaganda goes, and I know that American war movies are guilty
Yes,
as well.
I
I'd
completely-
imagine that I've never seen it and never will, but I would imagine, speaking of Michael Bay, that Pearl Harbor is a huge propaganda movie. I know Top
Sure.
Gun movies, both of them are.
Sure.
But this one, it's all about the martyrdom at the end with the suicide bomb, and they also have a hero shot of all the Chinese soldiers on the shore, cheering with their guns raised in the air as the Americans are fleeing the coastline. So they got both, right? They got we won the war and we died for the war and we sacrificed great.
They won the battle.
They won the battle. Yeah. The battle at Lake Changjin. So I wish this was more enjoyable. I wish it was shorter, like Brian said. I wish it was a movie where we could say, like, hey, this is kind of an interesting movie, guys. Check it out. I don't recommend people checking this out. Maybe check out a scene to see what we're talking about.
Oh, I think there's enough fun in here to be had.
I don't know if it's bad enough to be fun.
What?
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is. I think it's bad. I think it's boring more than anything else.
Anderson, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It's boring, though. It's not bad like, holy shit, look at these idiots trying to make a
I
movie.
disagree. It is boring, but there are parts that are like what makes a great bad movie is when they go for it, right? When like they're
You
trying
see this
to be
movie
great.
20 years ago, 30 years ago?
The
Like,
swing
this
and
is a
miss
good-
douche chills.
Well, sure, it'd blow my mind if I saw it in
A
2000.
lot of the shit is practical, though. There's not tons of CGI.
What?
There's a lot of practical shit. That's like the funny part.
What the fuck are you talking
There's a
about?
lot of real explosions. There's a lot of real fires going on. There's a lot.
Okay, there is, but it's 50% CGI.
Where do you think the $300 million went? CGI? Like CGI is fucking cheap, especially when you're doing it in China.
I'm glad you said so.
All those soldiers are real.
We'll never know. It's a $200 million budget. It's a $300 million budget, whatever. Yes, there are tons of extras. There are tons of like Jeeps and tanks and like they actually had all that shit. And they blow up a lot.
I've seen way worse CGI in big movies. I totally have.
have?
Did we see the same movie? The CGI was not the lead issue here.
No, it was not, but it was bad.
The bad dubbing was probably. They have fun little parts like where they get into like a and what's weird too is I felt it was an odd feeling to see like the severe extreme violence occurring.
Yeah.
It was jarring.
And having no feeling like that. It should have been kind of like weird, like out of body. Like, look, it's like they're heroically killing Americans, and for the first time as a moviegoer, I'm supposed to be happy.
The first dozen times the head exploded, I was jarred, and the next 40 or 50, I was like, all right.
But they're like, there's a scene where they're in like what is it, like a tent or like the American quarters, and they're bum rushing it, and they're killing them. There's like knife violence occurring, but they're distracted by a pinup girl that's on the wall, and they're like looking at it, and then trying to kill, and then getting in trouble. Like he gets slapped for looking at it again, right? Like, don't look at that. It's filth, right? That kind of thing.
But then there was.
I would have liked more of that.
There was a scene where all the Chinese soldiers are on a train, a moving train, and it's some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life.
But that wasn't a very long shot, right? Most of the movie. Is
I mean, it was a
at
few minutes.
the big battle and the tanks were real. Like you're making it seem like.
I don't know, man. I thought the CGI was stuck out like really poorly.
We see so many movies that are like just Marvel movies are like almost all CGI, and that's not what this movie was. Like those tanks were really there.
Okay,
those tanks were really.
yes,
a lot of
on
things
that
actually got
respect-
destroyed and exploded.
Okay, in that respect, yes, they probably used more things
Yeah.
than the average Marvel film. That said, you can't compare the effects.
All right. It's not a great movie, and I can't even recommend it.
I
for
do
fun,
right in
for
the
fun.
context
I was
of
bored.
it's not good. It's spectacularly not good.
I'm glad we saw it. I'm glad it's behind
At
us.
least see the Thanksgiving scene. I can attest to that.
Dude, it's gluttonous. It's so
It's
gluttonous.
enjoyable.
All right. I'm glad we did that. That's a nice mix of movies that we do here
Eric
on the
Robbins, was
program.
that what
Eric Robbins, yes, my
was
boy
great.
Eric Robbins.
That was something. That was a film I shamefully not even heard of.
Yeah, neither did I. I had not. I'm not. You know what? We're not that show. We don't read the trades, and we're just
Dig deep,
passionate
right.
movie watchers that bring. We try and go deep with our polls, and especially with the top fives and all that. But it's not like we're keeping you up to date on the news and. Like movies that aren't going to be worthy of us watching, we're usually not going to watch, right?
Agreed. Did it bother you the camera never stopped moving?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this movie was tedious and exhausting with this action. It was unrelenting, dull, boring action for me.
This could actually be a top 5 relentless movie.
I don't know if there was one moment where I was kind of like, ooh, I feel the grandeur.
No.
But that's all it was grandeur, right? But I've never felt it, right? It was bizarre.
I want to go back and watch the
There's that
soldiers.
Matthew Lillard movie from like 1997. I can't remember what it's called, like Air something.
Wing
or-
Commander?
Wing Commander, yeah.
Notable because it had the Phantom Menace trailer before.
You said that before. Last time I brought up Wing Commander, which is probably only once, like 5 years ago or something. But
There we are.
Wing Commander was the most busy, action-packed, boring movie I'd ever seen up until this week.
Wow.
This takes the
They
cake.
held the title for 25 years.
It did. All right, coming back with
Hey, guys, I really would like to hear a listener fanfiction for this movie.
I don't know if people.
Someone will dive in.
Please. Let us know what you think.
Why would you do that? You can watch it on YouTube for free.
And if you found it enjoyable.
And I'm very happy that we saw it and have context now. But it's not going to make me keep up with Chinese cinema anytime soon.
What if you just all Chinese cinema with this?
Hey, this is like the exact opposite reaction we had to RRR last year.
Yes, it is.
Right? Like RRR was like, it changed my life.
The,
A fucking movie.
the pirate movie?
All right. The pirate movie.
It's a callback to Show I told you with no impression.
What?
Scroll is
Oh,
Inaudible.
Corolla's joke where he said
Inaudible.
RRR. Is that pirate movie which you thought was funny? Which
This
is
is
not.
fucking hysterical.
It's not that funny.
Coming up
Is
next,
that pirate movie?
the long-awaited, much hyped, and might I say, eagerly welcomed Vaulties. Next. Welcome, one and all, to the 2024 Vaulties, honoring the best in film of the year 2023, the best movies of the year, top 5. We stick to it, strictly adhere to the algorithm that we've been doing for years. That's 5 films, best of the year. Anderson, I'd like to hear more about your process.
I do top 5 every single year for every single topic. That's kind of a lie too, except for the big one where I round it to 10 because we see many movies.
We do. I have a lot, just new movies.
It's foolish to. Also, my list this year more than other years, I would say, like a lot of them. I'd say like maybe 4 through 10. You could kind of put in a hat and just kind of shake around.
Well, this year.
So
more
if I
than
did
ever.
5, there's going to be like some movies that probably are deserving of being on the 5 if I were to do this list next week.
Interesting. This year, more than ever, we talked about before how there's, while not a handful of great movies, there's a lot of really good movies.
These
this
are all
year.
close to great movies, if not great movies, on the list. I think you could say the same thing. But
What I
there's
mean is like all-time
not
greats.
generational talent.
Like
is
a
not here.
clear, oh, that's number 1.
Yeah.
Last year, I was saying this to Gina Grad earlier on the LA Magazine podcast.
Smooth.
Last year was Everything Ever All at Once, and that for me was clearly number 1.
I thought it was the Los Angeles Magazine podcast.
I said that.
No, it's not, though. It's called the Gina and Bryan Show.
It's called the Bryan and Gina Show.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey,
You set
It's
him
called
up
the
for that.
Bryan and Gina Show
watch your
on
tongue.
LA Magazine. La Maga.
Brought to you by.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
I thought it was the official Los Angeles Magazine.
the official podcast.
But no, like
Los
you're a
Angeles
part
Magazine.
of a network almost.
Well, it might be.
Okay.
I'm not clear on that. Regardless, last year, cut and dry, like Everything Ever All at Once was my favorite movie of the year, the best movie of the year, and it was an easy choice. This year, not so much.
Yeah,
Like I
let's
said-
do our list from last year. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, you're going to make me look at the Vaulties or
Yeah,
what?
you can do that real quick. So I'll just go 10-1, just to give you an idea, especially if you don't. What? That's not right. I was all proud because I could have pulled it up real quick. Oh, that's the Revolties. Never mind.
You must have been so confused. Speaking of which, Vaulties next week, the worst
Why?
of the year.
Yeah.
You were like, "What the? Did I hit my head?"
Wow.
I have my list. Do you want to hear it? I was going to upset you. This is great.
Go ahead.
It is funny that I might reorder this a year from now. But number 5 was Weird, the Yankovic story. Number 4,
Didn't make my list somehow, which still upsets me.
The Menu. Number 4. Number 3, RRR, the pirate movie. Number 2, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
You were so angry when I named Puss in Boots
It's
as
absurd.
top 5.
It's absurd. I understand being pleasantly surprised, but to make it, climb your list to 2, it's a good movie.
It could have been 1. But 1 was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Number 10 for me was The Innocents, which went criminally overlooked, and it was a very, very some of the greatest like fuck yeah moments in that movie. Number 9 was Funny Pages, which speaking of movies from the past, gotta love the Funny Pages. Number 8, Holy Spider. Holy shit, my God.
Don't even remember you flip guessing that.
Could you listen? Number 7, All Quiet on the Western Front. Number 6, The Northman. Number 5, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Number 4, Tar. Number 3, Babylon. I love that Babylon unabashedly. I don't care.
You're on an island.
Great
now.
fucking movie. Number 2, RRR. Number 1, Dinner in America. It was a clear-cut favorite for me last year. I realized as I was watching it, oh, this is my favorite movie of the year. It's March, but this is my favorite movie.
That's
of the
why
year.
it wasn't on my my old new. It was ineligible.
Because it was just from last year, so that gives you an idea. And sometimes it's not as that many outliers. And I know I get accused of being contrarian, and that is not what I am doing here. I promise. I'm just reacting to the way I react.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing.
Yes.
Being a contrarian. That's your job here. That's what you need to do.
It's true.
I just reordered my list.
But from last year, it's too late.
No, this year.
Really.
Last minute change.
I have 22 that could have been in the mix.
Like I said, I got down to a list of 17, and that's where the tough cuts began. That's rare. When I got down to 7, that's when I had to get clever.
So
That's when you had 3 more.
let's without further ado, let's get
okay.
into our top our bottom of the best.
So you want to go 10 and 9?
Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me some of your when I'll do 10, and then you pull an also round.
No, that's
That's fair.
antithetical to a top 5.
No, that's what you should do. You should give me like just so we're rounded. So I'm not sitting here doing two at once. All right. So I'll do one. I'll do my number 10. Then you give me an also ran.
Do a couple.
I don't like this at all. Avery and I will go back and forth, and then you can do your little.
How
one,
much
okay?
crossover?
Number 10 for me. I'm starting soft, starting easy.
How much crossover?
Numerous times. Well, yeah, that's a good question, especially with my 10.
Stopped dead in his tracks.
4 probably.
4
Of my
crossover?
10, I got 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All yours are going to be on his, I would imagine.
No,
I don't think so.
definitely
I do not think so. Watch
Definitely
yourself, Avery. You know how the show works.
That's
I know you're new, but I mean, you've been
That's
listening for a while. You've been
My
around.
number
For
5 will
I
not,
hope.
My number 5 will not sniff his list.
Number 10 for me
Probably in a short list, that shit.
is a movie that a number of times I had this concern. Oh no, this might be my favorite movie of the year. How would that look? Not good.
I had that thought many times as I'm going over my list.
I am ashamed that I liked Wonka more than my 7-year-old. I am ashamed that I fell for more of the tricks. But I cannot help but deeply love this movie Wonka.
And you're an honest man. You could shirk it if you're a lover.
Absolutely. I got some hard, raw movies that are on my also rans. Hard and raw, right? But Wonka was absolutely magical, delightful. Love the messaging. Love Chalamet. Love the direction. It's just a beautiful, it's not quite Paddington 2, but Wonka works on so
director.
many levels. I love it.
Wonka's fantastic. Shocking to me that it did not get a single Oscar nod in terms, because it came out December, obviously. It was primed and ripe for an Oscar nomination. Not a single one.
Yeah, I guess they didn't know where to put it.
So fun, though. This movie nearly broke the fun scale.
It literally sings, and the trailer looked
It literally said.
abominable.
Looked atrocious.
It
Yeah.
looked
Oh, I
awful.
wanted nothing to do with this.
Hate it. I knew that I was gonna have to watch it for the show, and I was angry. I was angry at the studio for making it, not thinking of me. Like, hey, some people have to watch these movies for what they do. Like, think of us. This movie looks like it's not made for. And I knew I should have known better because I should have known King was the director. I did know better. I had hope.
What if corporate Studio America got their claws in them? And like, you're making our movie now.
Can you imagine that? So, yeah, Wonka is my number 10. Avery, what do you got?
I was,
Avery's participating in this?
Yeah,
I was indulgent
thank God.
at the 10 spot. I have a 2-way tie for 10.
Especially when you. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's my only tie because I couldn't leave it all.
Yeah, you can. You have to.
I couldn't.
Show some restraint.
I showed none. 2-way tie at
You
10.
didn't even have a camera.
A movie that two movies I don't think are on either of your lists. The first of which being The Taste of Things. Oh, simply delightful.
I've not seen.
It's
Yeah,
what I
we've not
wanted.
seen.
It's what I wanted.
Could go see this in the theater, but I've decided already that I'm gonna have a smorgasbord. Not unlike what we saw in the Battle of Lake Changjin.
Yes.
While watching The Taste
You
of Things.
should.
I want to be gluttonous.
You absolutely
gluttonous
should.
Yes.
feast.
It will
I'm gonna
make you so goddamn hungry.
I'll either make it myself or get some takeout and just sit there and just savor. Because I can eat for 3 hours, just nibble. I love that kind of eating.
It's craze.
Yeah.
It's how I imagine people who liked Phantom Thread felt about Phantom Thread. It's what I wanted to get out of that.
All right,
It was delightful. It was sad. It was slow. It was passionate. It was
number 10B.
a feast for the eyes, and I loved it.
So I've heard.
Number 10B.
It's going to be a feast for the eyes and the stomach for me because I'm going to watch it at home.
I loved it. I think this got 1,000,000 points because I was one of the few people who got the privilege of seeing it in theaters. May, December. I fucking loved May, December. Seeing it in a theater as a dark comedy and getting a full theater laughing along with the jokes.
That score swelling.
Enhanced it greatly.
The score's the best.
It was so delightful, and I would imagine a totally different experience than seeing it on your couch because it was
Could be right.
because I feel like the audience is smart with comedy. You are able to hone in on the jokes collectively in a way that you wouldn't be necessarily
Unless
on
it's
your
annoying.
own. But it wasn't, though. It was we were all on the same page realizing, oh, this is funny. This is a good place to laugh, even though it's dark, even though it's fucked up. I thought the performances were fantastic. I loved the kid who was the little band leader in the bar. I will never forget him. I enjoyed Charles Melton smoking his weed on his rooftop.
I wonder if that was a good scene, but I wonder if this is really all about seeing it in the theater.
It really was.
It didn't even. It's not on my also.
But I'm
It
not.
didn't make my top 20.
But I'm not exaggerating with that. I truly think it was the theater experience, and I think this was done a disservice by being pushed exclusively to be seen at home. I
But
really.
you can also go see it in the theater and like be an empty theater, like which is what I usually try and do.
But I don't think they would have done it. I think seeing it in this is a packed theater, really, really enhanced the experience. I
You know
really
what,
like this
Anderson,
movie.
To your point, this didn't make my short list either, but I think that's a testament to how strong the year was.
Yeah.
The movie's like, this is a very good movie.
it's one of the
didn't
best
even
directed
consider-
movies I saw all year,
Yeah.
but it wasn't I love Todd Haynes. I think he's one of the top 5 working directors we have. I don't know if the jokes were
But again,
as funny
it was,
as I needed.
it was
them
the
to
theater
be.
experience, and I think you and I still enjoyed, even though it's not going to touch my list. I don't think anyone's list, but The Killer. I think we enjoyed that a little more because we also saw it in theaters. I don't think you got to, Brian.
No,
I
it's
think you
the
saw it at home.
opposite. I saw it at
Or
home.
the
Brian
opposite.
saw it in theaters. I think.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
I feel like seeing it in theaters,
and
at
I
least
didn't
for
like it
me,
as much as you two guys did.
right. So I think it enhanced
Yeah.
it for me seeing it in theaters.
Despite all the evidence that I've seen that movies are better in theaters versus at home, I still like the convenience.
But I feel like, especially with
Yeah,
a
for
dark
sure.
comedy like that, because The Killer even had dark elements that are comedic
If I can,
and didn't feel as hollow when you're with people.
if I have an opportunity, and I've done it plenty of times, I will make the trek. I'll do like an hour long round trip to see a movie in a theater with whether it's Movie Pass or AMC. Like, it's not going to cost any more other than gas. If I can watch it right now in my home or make the hour round trip, I will make the hour round trip, and I have that convenience. I mean, I have that luxury right now. I understand a lot of people don't, and if I didn't do the Film Vault, I probably wouldn't do that. But I feel like if I do have the opportunity for a little, I got to put a little, extra effort. I will do that. Didn't have that opportunity with May December nor Taste of Things.
I'll watch that
Actually,
shit
Taste of
again.
Things I could have, but I already told you.
I'll
That's
watch
all.
May, December again.
All right, relax.
Love that shit.
You guys want to do
relax
your
with
number
May
9s?
Oh yeah, the 9s.
Brian, you really set yourself up for failure. It's absurd for you. My number 9 is a documentary that I talked about not too long ago, and it's about free diving, and it's called The Deepest Breath, and it is
Wow.
amazing. It's an amazing movie. It really is. A peek into a world most of us know very little about. The amount of drama that they build in this without showing too much was masterful, and
High stakes.
harrowing, high stakes, infuriating at times.
Oh yeah.
And it really was one of those great examples of what a good documentary can do, which is you think you know a little something about something because you've heard a news bite about it or something, you heard someone talking about it at a party, but then you're enveloped with the storyline and the sport, as it were, with deep diving, free diving here, and it's nail biting, many times. Right,
Wow.
you saw it.
Yeah, I
Where
really
can
enjoyed
this
it.
be watched?
Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
The Deepest Breath.
The deepest
that right?
breath. And it's funny because one of my it was in like the 6 through 10s a couple years ago, a documentary called In the Same Breath, and that was a documentary that criminally went overlooked again, and that's a movie also with breath in the title. That's why I bring it up. But it was all about China's response to COVID and our response to COVID, and it was crosscut, and it was made by a filmmaker who got stuck in China, and she was over there, and it was fascinating. It was fantastic. So
All right, Avery, number
And
9.
pairs well with Free Solo, which is streaming on Disney.
yes, Deepest Breath and Free Solo
Share
are
a lot
very,
of the
very,
same DNA.
very similar. I think Jimmy Choo actually was one of the. I think he was involved.
I don't know. Would not surprise me.
Maybe not.
My number 9.
Yes, please.
I was delighted because it's so rare that you get
He was on.
a good horror movie. That you get one that truly stands out. One worth seeing.
Talk to her.
Fucking Talk to Me.
Talk to Me.
Loved this movie. Was blown away by this movie.
Crazy.
I found it extremely effective, haunting. There are things that I from this movie that I've thought of many times.
Sorry, describe it again. I know I saw
Talk to Me
this.
is with the hand,
the
and
monkey's
where you're
paw.
possessed, and with the face trauma and the smashing.
I didn't
Well
see
done.
it.
Fun.
Extremely well done, especially low budget with all the unknowns that they had. I really like the way they integrated social media, the way they did the fantasy, I don't know, fantasy scenes, but the scenes of the demonic possession. I found it very effective, very fucked up, very trippy, and it really scratched that horror itch. I feel like you get one good horror movie a year that's a breakthrough
And
if
this
you're
is it.
lucky, and for me, this was it.
Nice.
Really like Talk to Me. And let me see. I didn't check if it's streaming. I'll look that up. But Talk to Me, number 9.
Quick correction, retraction. Jimmy Chin, not Jimmy Choo, you dumb fucking asshole, Anderson. Don't be so mean. It's okay.
Those are yours.
And what he was recently associated with was Naiad, which is not on my list or also Rans, but
Also
he
about
was
swimming.
he directed Naiad. Very
Also
very
about
effective.
water sports.
Very good. I like that movie quite a bit. It's just
Again, didn't set the list.
way too paint by numbers and way too what do you call it?
Disney sports movie.
Naiad. It was just predictable.
Yeah.
No, we had a huge argument about that
What?
on the show, and I was saying it wasn't nearly as predictable as you were suggesting it was.
Oh, that's right. Well, you. Oh, wait.
No, we're not
Very
going to do that
predictable.
yet. That was great. sings.
Number 5 for me.
That Heart of Gold song, it's on my shower mix. I listen to it like, about once every couple weeks. It'll come on my rotation. Yeah, because it's in the song. It's in the movie. Whoever was listening to that song while they're looking for music for this movie, they're like, holy shit, perfect.
Oh, fucking Neil Young is the best.
Talks about like swimming across an ocean and like talks about Heart of Gold and being old.
And like one of the songs that she
Maybe this could have inspired the movie, the entire movie. If you heard that song, could have inspired. Not yet.
Number 5 for me. I don't expect it to make your list, even though you'd be foolish to leave it off. And I almost left it off, but when I got down to 7, I had to cut 2 movies. And I'm like, I got to cut 2 of these. And I realized only 2 of my films were Oscar winners. So they're off the list. All 5 of mine combined, a single Oscar nomination, 0 wins for all these movies. Number 5 for me.
Wait, all of your 5, your top 5?
Combined.
None of them have any Oscar wins. Interesting. That's not like you, Brian.
A single nomination.
Let this be a lesson.
Number 5,
Not even a nomination. Because you're always like bending over backwards to catch up with the Oscars and make sure you see everything and cram it all in. But like, they're not the movies that are necessarily what are worth talking about.
Indeed. To wit.
Don't let that
5.
guide you, Brian.
Number 5. I feel guilty in a sense that I feel like I championed this movie a lot early on.
I wonder what movie it is. There's so much lead up with you.
And I don't think you or Avery or the listeners responded quite like I did, but I really loved Lola. Lola was awesome. The time travel black and white movie.
I never saw it.
I liked it. Oh, you never saw it?
No, you saw it because you made the big announcement that I found a movie that no one's heard of that's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll be talking about it next week.
He did.
100% and no one's talking about it.
And
I'll be watching.
And we're still here. Still 100%.
No.
Still no one talking
Nomination free.
about it. Except for me.
I 3-starred that shit.
You did you?
I
Yeah.
I 4-starred that shit. I still think about it. The ending is
You
so
seen
good.
Linoleum yet?
That was on my short list, actually.
Yeah.
That was on one of the 17.
Yeah. Don't tell Nick Eats Cake. He hates that fucking movie because he
Really?
thinks it's like a scene for scene ripoff of Donnie Darko. I'm like, yeah, let's
Still a little.
slow your roll
Yeah, I
there.
was
It's
gonna
not.
say, a little
There's
bit.
some similarities for sure, but I love that Linoleum.
Lola, directed by Andrew Legge in his feature debut. 2023, of course, 100%. Did I mention that on Rotten Tomatoes?
I
You
believe
rent
I've heard
this, and it's a scant 79 minutes. You would be well-to-do with watching the story of Mars and Tom, the sisters, Mars and Tom, who invent a time-traveling machine they call Lola. It's not really a time-traveling machine. It's a machine that can access the future. So I guess in broad strokes, it is time-traveling. But great stuff.
If you're going from one time to a different time.
It can access information from the future.
Oh, so yeah, okay.
They themselves cannot travel their time.
Find out who won the pennant.
It's set during World War II.
Oh, it's set during World War II.
Yeah, and they are they're
Trying to manipulate.
British sisters who live in the countryside, and they have figured out a way to figure out where the war battles are going to go, and it starts to turn the tide towards the British. But then the Germans figure it out.
Okay, all right. I feel like you're. I can't stop you or know if you're.
Things spiral out of control.
Let's say a COVID movie, like just a couple characters in an empty room.
It's
most of it.
It's a little bit limited storytelling.
They made it during the 2020,
limited storytelling.
2021 era.
That said,
Sounds.
it felt more independent than COVID. You know what I mean? Like it felt like
Than
it
COVID?
was than COVID. It felt more independent. Like the limited storytelling and limited characters were a result of not having $20 million.
Right.
$5 million.
Avery, what's your
Yes.
number 8?
Just give it to me.
Yeah.
Throwing it to me.
Yep.
My number 8. It's nominated for an Oscar. I found it very enjoyable. Well, I don't know if enjoyable is the right word. Very compelling. Very engaging.
Zone.
A bit long, but it didn't feel that way. Foreign. Anatomy of a Fall.
Ooh! Didn't see that coming.
I enjoyed my Anatomy. It felt like it really scratched that true crime itch. I loved seeing the absurdity of the French criminal justice
It is absurd.
system.
That was on the short list. For me.
Unbelievable.
One of my 17.
The
You
child
can
was
hop on with
incredible.
them if you like.
It's really good.
The child was incredible. I was really blown away by how effective the fight scene was in the middle. How they split it up, but between showing it actually happen and then the recording and people reacting to it in the court. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal, and I loved.
Also, the rare movie where you got towards the end, and you're like, I don't know where this is.
I have no idea. And they really played with the ambiguity. And
That's my problem with it. I know that I'm kind of a simple.
but normally I'm bothered
Frank.
by that.
I was very bothered because we just spent 2+ hours trying to figure out what's happening, and then they just leave us, and it's like, what?
No, I'm sorry. I meant when they got to the verdict, I was like, I don't know where this is.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yes.
that was good. That was like edge of your seat stuff, right? But as a viewer, I feel like I earned the
Knowing
truth.
whether or not it happened.
Yeah, and I heard like my boy Billy Burr, who's by no means like a critic or anything. He loved the ending because he's like, they didn't give you an ending which Hollywood we normally deliver, and it's like, I don't know if I even saw it that way. I don't think it's like it's not like I wasn't looking for a happy ending. I was just looking for an ending because it's there, and the filmmakers could have given it to us, and it frustrates me.
But I think they thought it would have
lot.
cheapened it, and I kind of agree. I like that we don't know. And that's
Or
sort
it can
of-
be seen as a cop-out. I could see how it would be considered, not if it was written so well where it could have gone either way.
Yes.
Give me away. Just
and
give
that's
me
how
a
the court
push.
system goes, right? You don't ever really know.
But I'm not in a court. I'm not a juror.
I know.
I want to fucking know. As
I
an
know.
audience member,
I
I'm
know.
watching a movie. I'm not a juror. Not sequestered.
But you are. They sequestered you.
Kind of.
I'm a little simple.
And as Jimmy Kimmel said, the dog was phenomenal.
Dog was good.
Dog,
That lived and died on the dog
the
scene
dog
for me.
turned up.
I almost hated this movie forever, but then it turned it around with the dog scene, with how that turned out. But Anatomy of a Fall, my number 8, tremendous movie. If somehow you haven't seen it, absolutely go out and see this.
My number 8 also nominated for an award. Also the winner of an award. It actually beat out the old Anatomy of a Fall over there. And this is
Oppenheimer.
Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest. Not a fun watch, obviously, but as a movie unlike any movie I'd ever seen before. He continues to deliver just one very, very interesting movie after another each 12 or 13 years. And The Zone of Interest, I mean, it's real simple and easy to say. It's like 2 movies in one. It really is 2 movies in one like I'd never seen before with what they did with the sound. A very interesting idea, very well executed. And the fact that I was not bored stiff throughout this movie is a testament to the filmmaker and what they, as a team, were able to achieve with
Agreed.
keeping me interested. Because there's not a whole lot going on
Agreed.
other than the disgusting mundanity of their life. That's the entire
Just
hook.
the routine and
The
the-
routine, right? And it's still, because obviously of the sound mix, was just like, I don't even want to say eye-opening, but you think about that. Watching
It
only
made
world.
you think a different way.
Yeah, I mean, like her fiddling with the teeth and trying to see like what goods Daddy brought home from the people that he burned today. It was just like, wow, they weren't human, at least in this. And they couldn't have been, right? They
I
couldn't have
agree.
been human.
While I did not respond to the movie the way you did, it didn't. I didn't find it enjoyable in any stretch of the imagination.
Unlike Anderson.
I will say that it stuck with me. I still think about parts of this movie.
And I've only seen it once. Don't know if I'll ever go back for a rewatch.
I'm still too scared to see it. I just
You'd like it. He swings for the fences a few times, and I'm not sure he made contact with some of the night scenes with the sound mix. I mean, he was really doing experiment. He was experimenting with the medium, as Tyler would say.
There was a couple moments of dread.
I don't know if I don't want to say that it didn't. It was jarring, and just like the black and his method of shooting in an experimental way, where it was like negative film and with the intense sound when there was night things occurring. Let's leave it at that. And then otherwise, it was like very subtle with like grandma figuring out what was going on.
Oh yeah,
and the little
yeah.
things
It's
like
funny
that.
because it vacillated between subtle and very much not.
Yeah. But yeah, Zone of Interest made you think. Just when you think you've seen every single World War II movie, or
Sure.
like
This is
Flight.
a fresh take.
It's a fresh take.
For
Yeah.
what it's worth.
So that's my number
All right,
8.
number 7 for you assholes.
number 7 for me is my
It's more movies.
only animated feature on the list.
Really?
I was delighted by this film. It was a sequel. It was the follow-up to a movie that I adored, that I was blown away with the first time I saw it. It's Enter the Spider-Verse.
That makes sense.
Really enjoyed my Enter the Spider-Verse. I know a lot of people.
Trolls World Tour.
That would be surprising.
I know a lot of people similar to Anatomy of a Fall. I took issue with the ending, or maybe the non-ending, the ambiguity of where are we going.
Oh no, I liked this movie.
Spider-Verse.
Oh,
yes,
I liked it.
Where-
I didn't mind. I didn't realize there was going to be a third one. So I think I said when they got towards the end, I'm like, They got a lot to wrap up here, and they have
And yeah, I felt the same way. This truly felt like they always draw the comparison right with sequel to Empire Strikes Back. This felt earned in that regard. They found some way to elevate the animation. They were even more experimental with it, and I really responded to it. And this is one of the movie series that makes me feel like a child again. I just feel like I'm back in there, that I'm a kid again, that you're living those kid stakes where it's got that high school romance element, it's got that coming of age element, it's got that how do I fit into the world element, and just the voice acting they get and the different characters and the spectacle, and then the way they play with the different Spider-Mans, and they keep finding a way to escalate, and so many jokes are packed into it too, with like the Spider-Man T-Rex and all that. I just love this movie. Really enjoyed it, and it just found it enormously creative.
Glad you have it on your list, because I don't think it's on either one of ours, and it's shocking. It's kind of shocking, and that's just another testament to what a strong year it was. I love that movie. It's a great movie.
It was one of my 17.
Might have let me down a little bit because I love the first one so much. The first one was like
yes,
life
and self-contained, and it's self-contained, and you don't have to move on beyond that story.
And that says something, right? Like if this was the first one, and there wasn't one before it, like this is definitely on my top 10, right? This definitely makes I think it might have been my number one when I first saw it, but it was like we had already seen something like that before. It was a continuation of that, which was still great, but it wasn't changing any games for me.
I thought
and
they
it
found a
didn't
way to
quite
elevate.
live up. It didn't elevate it. I didn't feel the elevation, and I know others did. So I wish that I had. I still liked it a lot. Part of it could be my 7-year-old was with me, and he wasn't as enthralled as I was.
That doesn't help.
But I mean, that didn't keep me from Wonka, having Wonka on the list. I actually enjoyed Wonka. Like I was tearing up, and I watched Into the Spider-Verse. I've seen clips of it and watched parts of it since, tearing up.
The first one.
The first one, I never once teared up with the second one, and not out of like. There's this weird thing that happens. I don't know if you get it too, Brian, but when I'm watching a movie that's just it happened with Wonka. There's nothing sad in Wonka. I was crying in Wonka because it was the magical.
I'm sorry, mine is Across the Spider-Verse.
It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful, and just like Wally, it happened in Wally, like throughout Wally.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
It happened there.
I
nightmare that I had, and I woke up, and I'm like, thank God.
I feel like I got some dustiness towards the end of this movie.
Well, I mean, that's an emotional dust. I'm talking about something different. Just like,
my God, I don't get
it
the
moved you spiritually.
Overwhelmed spiritually. Yeah,
I don't get the awe. I don't usually tear up from awe or wonder.
I get the awe. Spirited Away, right? Spirited Away and Into the Spider-Verse are two movies that make me cry, and that are like this, not Pixar. And it's just, all right. Number what is it? 7.
All right.
7. Yeah, 7 for you.
All right, here we go. And then we can hear Brian's number 4. God damn you, Brian. Brian just.
See, but I think we put Brian in the middle. I think we do our 1-2 and then Brian and then 1-2.
Well, we're all in the middle now. Rye Lane. Thank you, Danny Leffler, for assigning us Rye Lane. My God, what a treat Rye Lane is.
Did we decide Rye Lane 2023?
Rye Lane is 2023, yes. And it is absolutely worthy of being on the list. This movie is a romantic comedy that doesn't waste any time with needless bullshit romance that doesn't work or is begging us to care. It's every single scene is as good as the last, and it's just a great movie. If you've not seen Rye Lane yet and you've not trusted us, Brian right now is discovering that it's not even on his also-rans, and he's upset with himself because he made a mistake. Rye Lane is one of the 10 best movies that I saw last year, and I didn't do the math, but usually it's like something like 150 new releases. It's fantastic.
It's a crisp watch.
Very crisp.
It's under 90, right? Did you say that? It's like an hour 20?
I'll tell you the exact runtime. I don't think an hour 22? Jeez. Needed
Quick.
more Rye Lane.
It's brisk.
Needed more Rye Lane. The two leads are great. We were kind of hard on him, but he did exactly what he was supposed to do, which was, he can't be funny. He's not supposed to be super funny.
It'd be too much if he was matching her.
He's beta, and that's the whole point.
He's a straight man to her wacky.
And he needs somewhere to go.
And his best friend is just the best. Like he's fucking hilarious.
He's a great dumb character.
And she is so I knew I was in with this movie when so it's all about two people who meet in this part of England, London, called Rye Lane, I guess, which is a big. I don't know. I've never been over there, but I guess you know it if you live over there. It's a terrible title. It does not work for people who are not familiar with that part of the world. But it takes place in a day.
Is it like if it was called Venice Beach or something?
Most of it takes place in a day, right?
It'd be like it was called like
Abbott Kinney.
Cheviot Hills. Like, I don't know what that
Chevy,
is.
Chevy Hills, yeah. Or like West Side Pavilion, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie would
Westwood.
be terrible.
Sawtell.
That'd be a
So-
good movie. That's Perfect Days.
So
That's true.
he's a sad sack. His girlfriend
Mar
just broke up
Vista.
with him, and then he meets this girl who's very confident, and she kind of like takes him under her wing,
Palms.
and that's the movie. And for the most part, it takes place in one day. I you know what? I watched all this at my house with my little device and my pen and paper. Not a single note. And Brian has pointed
notes.
this out. Sometimes when
I
you're
had very
so
few notes.
you don't want to interrupt the flow. This movie had flow. This movie just sings, as I said about Wonka. I like this one more.
We're only up to number 4.
This movie made me cry out of just sheer awe of greatness. When you see the friends and you realize right after the penis picture in the phone, for those of you who saw it, you know what I'm talking about, and he's explaining what the penis is, and he could that low def penis, he recognized it.
You can identify it.
Because of whose it was, and then smash cut to them urinating towards the phone. And this movie is very shot in a very, very fun, easy, smooth style too. But
Indeed.
Almost music
pops.
video-esque.
but it's not too much. It's not too much, and it's not
No,
raw.
it's not over
or
stylized.
edgy. Because when I say like two guys peeing towards the camera, you get like this Gaspar Noé type idea, visual in your. It's nothing
It's
like
not
that.
that.
And they're like singing and like rapping. I think while they're peeing in the urinal, and it's hilarious. It's just fucking funny.
Yeah, it works.
It's very funny.
Enjoyable film. Sorry, I forgot about it.
Rye Lane. Hulu. It's streaming on Hulu.
Would have made the top 5 though. Number 4.
Be my number 7, Brian.
I have some misgivings about this because, like Lola, I brought it to the show. However, it was well received.
Oh, boy.
What music dog was it?
How fucking dare
I think
you?
I know what he's talking
I'm
about.
talking about the only Oscar-nominated film on my list.
Oh.
Nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Oh,
Nimona.
it was pretty good.
No, Nimona's Sweet. Don't back off now.
It was pretty.
Nimona's awesome. Nimona's Sweet.
Oh, he's slow playing you.
Directed by
Brian.
Nick Bruno and Tony
That shit's his number fucking 1 or some shit.
Quinn.
It is not.
It's his number 2.
94% on Netflix. On Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait,
It's
wait.
streaming on Netflix.
Who the fuck doesn't like this movie?
That's not saying
6% of paid critics are. I don't even know if they're paid on the old Rotten. They just take anybody nowadays.
Well, professional critics, right?
No, I don't even know if you can. Well, I mean, we're professional critics.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
We're totally professional critics. I think we could be on that Rotten Tomatoes if we.
Drake,
if-
get him on there.
Where it is.
I do think we could. I think they
Probably,
opened it up.
honestly.
6%. Who? What?
Do you want to pull
I
up a
can't even
negative
think
review?
political reason why.
Wanna see it?
Yes, let's hear a negative review on Nimona.
Yeah, well, what is there to nitpick about this movie?
I don't know.
It's 8% don't like this. It's got a 92.
What? Observe my notes.
We never get a real sense of who Nimona is as an individual
Shut the fuck
beyond the
up.
impressions she gives to other people, so that the film comes to rely on the old trope of eliciting sympathy for a monster rather than demonstering her. What does that mean?
No, we absolutely demonster her
that is
numerous times in the
Missing
movie.
the point completely.
It is. This is an angry female critic who wants it to be
Wow.
more about a female story.
This one's more infuriating. You want to hear Yasser Medina from Cinephilia? Its strength lies in cel-shading animation that renders character design in medieval futuristic settings, but its fantasy is weakened by a simplistic plot that repeatedly falls into the zone of the most generic cliches.
I disagree.
What?
I don't think it's generic at all.
Fuck you, Yasser.
Who was the first person that said that we didn't hear enough of Nimona's story? The
Jenny Kermode for Eye for Film.
Well, she's good.
Eye for Film.
You know what we got to do? I don't like drinking games, but maybe it's gambling or something on the Oscars next year, where we do like over under on how many times we hear like the language of film in a fucking speech or like a presentation.
I think we should also just next time, anytime we find a film that's like 97, 98, 99, we have to read the negative.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I used to do that regularly when I loved a movie and I'd look it up because I haven't been on Rotten Tomatoes in months, but when I was looking at Rotten. And I would love to read.
But especially a movie everyone loves.
You could do an entire podcast. It might be out there. It might be a few of them where you just read people's cunty reviews of just
Classic.
mundane things.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed on the After Disaster reading reviews of Jillian and I for like our anniversary or something. I took her down to Venice and we went on. Actually, we didn't. No, we did. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We went on gondolas. It was maybe Naples and Long Beach, but. I was looking at places like who did the gondola rides, and they have reviews on Yelp. One guy was so angry. He's like, he barely sang at all. I had to ask him to sing the 5th song. He wasn't singing as he was rowing his back to shore. He stopped. And then I just went down a rabbit hole of reading this guy's reviews of all the different places, and he was just shitty about everything. Just reading shitty reviews would be a fun podcast to listen to.
I know people who they've been on dates, and the person they're on a date with has bragged about having a bunch of Yelp reviews.
How many of them start with, well, I've never been there, but... What? Shut! You should be jailed. You should. I'm not saying prison, but like a couple months. Just shut your fucking mouth.
Just do a term.
Shut your fingers down. How many people?
They should lose their finger. Broken fingers, like not forever, just for temporarily.
Maybe
Put
like
them in a cast.
maybe maybe some casts where they don't respond to like the smartphones don't recognize like and if you keep doing it, permanent.
Try your
Permanent. Your fingers
It
will be
locks you
cast over. And like you put some kind of burns, make it so that they will never. Because I had
sort of rubber or something.
I worked with a guy in live broadcast and live TV, and his fingers, like we had touchscreens for our soundboards. His fingers had something wrong with them where they wanted. That's what you do to people who post too many shitty things.
Glorious.
Oh, how good is this?
Glorious.
I need to run with this. Yes.
You just got to change the circulation because then it won't respond the same way. I think it's
number
a little
4
bit
is
the heat and the conductivity.
Is
I
that
think.
all it is? That seems like a scientific job that I can't quite do on my own.
Well, you hire a nerd.
I thought you said nurse. I was gonna be like, no, this is a man's job.
that too.
This is a man's job.
I don't think we actually talked about Nimona at all.
Nimona's good. All
Lots
right,
of fun.
let's move on.
It'll never be talked about again on the show.
Number 6 for you, James.
It might not be. All right. All right. All right.
We'll lead up here.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to talk for a minute here. All right.
The floor is yours.
I have a movie, and there might be some recency biased here, but I don't think so. Because Bastardin fucking rules.
Oh,
Bastardin
the Promised
is
Land.
an amazing movie that has
That's the
everything that Dune is missing as far as feeling.
Bastardin.
My God, did I feel
I almost included this.
throughout this fucking movie. I cared so much for all of the goddamn characters. His arc is amazing, as you'd imagine. Bastardin, also known as the Promised Land. Yes, it's called a Promised Land, but
It's
when it
the
came up,
Nazareth
when the title came up, because the Promised Land's never seen on the when you actually watch this movie online, it's just called in Denmark. It's just called
The Bastard.
the Bastardin, right? Is it Danish? It's Danish, right?
Danish, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He makes Mads Mikkelsen makes like one Danish film a year just to keep from what I heard, just to keep the Danish film society alive, I guess.
Yeah.
So The Promised Land is a 2023 movie that is starring Mads Mikkelsen, Amanda Collin. I saw this since I last saw you. I crammed it. This was Denmark's official submission for the Oscars. It did not get one. This is directed by Nicolaj Arcel, who was responsible for the story of Freedom Riders, which was my number one movie a couple years ago, which is an amazing movie also with Matt Nicholson.
Fuck, now I'm mad I didn't put Promised Land.
Promised Land is so...
The translation is The Bastard.
The Bastard. Okay. Well, so it takes place in 1755, or that's where it starts. At least the story starts, and it's all about the monarchy system in Denmark at that time, and it's all about lords and land parcels,
Fiefdoms and all that, the lords and
land, and like what you can do with this land, and is the land worth anything, and why even do anything with the land? Oh, sure, this lord over here, he owns all the land, but you can't grow shit on it because it's just nothing but clay and frozen, and this man who is like the son of working class, so he has no respect. No one has any respect for him because he's just it's that system which is very foreign to me. And actually, we were talking about it a little bit on the After That Story. Mike and I were just last week about how it's like, oh, your dad was a smith, a silversmith, or like he made horseshoes. Or in today's like, oh, your dad works at Foot Locker. Oh, well, then you'll amount to nothing ever. Like that's how a lot of cultures go through life. It's like, oh, your mom was a maid. Well, then you have no chance in life. Yeah. It's like, what is that?
It's all over.
It's so foreign to me.
Yeah.
But that's how, and I think a lot of it obviously was just, keeping the oppressed and like, keeping your shit. So this man who's supposed to become nothing because he is His parents were working class, or his dad was. He comes to this council and
after spending 25 years in the military, to earn enough status and money
to get to the point where he can possibly do this feat, which he's going to pitch these. I don't even know this council. It's like this very fancy what are they?
They're nobles.
The early the first 20 minutes or so had some. It didn't have the score. It didn't have the crazy score, but it had a "There Will Be Blood" feel to it. Right?
Yes,
it was very "There Will Be Blood"
intensity
without the crazy green. What's his name? Score, which kind of takes that
green.
movie.
What's his name?
Green. What's his name? Green. He's from OK Computer. What's his name?
Oh, Tommy. Oh no, Lee Greenwood.
Greenwood. Thank you.
Lee Greenwood did. I'm proud to be an American.
Not Greenwood. What is his name? What the fuck?
Johnny Greenwood, right?
Johnny Greenwood? Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
But
I
could have used the score, could have elevated this movie even more. So, anyways, he presents his case and he's like, hey, I can do it. And then ultimately they give him the Heath. It's called the Heath. And they're like, yes, sir. Sure. Go out there and try and grow some shit.
Because it's the king's pet project.
Yeah. And the king, they want to colonize this section. They want to bring the Germans over. So he does it. The priest in this movie, who plays a big part, who's like his ally, is the sex slave from Riders of Justice. Remember the sex slave who he protects and saves? Have you seen Riders of Justice?
Yes. Doesn't he find him like in the apartment or the house?
He's like a sex slave, and
he's phenomenal in this.
He's so good in this. Did I tell you that the director came up with the idea? He came up with a story for Riders of Justice. So. I don't think we're like an hour and 10 minutes in this movie, and I don't think Matt Nicholson has smiled one single time.
No, he is a joyless man.
Yeah, totally joyless.
You're not even sure if you like him. Nor is he trying to be likable.
So ultimately, there's the feelings that I had, and you must have had similar emotions, where I'm just all in. I care for these people. I care for their strife. I didn't even get to the nemesis. The bad
he's
guy.
An all-time villain in terms of hateability.
The antagonist is set up so well where you just fucking love to hate him.
Why was this not nominated for an Oscar?
I don't know. It's a tough year.
Was it not?
It wasn't. It should. It could have been. And a lot. If it was completely up to me, obviously I'd have it on. But ultimately, like I'm watching this movie going, this is like what Dune was missing. I did not care about the lead characters, and I'm not doing it to be a fucking contrarian. It really was missing that for me.
Yeah.
And I knew and also I had this thought.
When you didn't feel like the main characters were in peril. Like these people were.
Nor did I want them not to be in peril, because I didn't care about them one way or the other.
These people felt like they were in genuine peril and did not have control over their world or their lives.
And there's so much to this movie we're not getting into. Like, they have a little girl who's like of a certain ethnicity.
How ridiculous is the argument that this movie's racist that they tried to put on Matt?
Did someone say that?
Somebody asked it. They're like, how come there's no people of color in this movie? And
there is a person of color, and she's like at the center of the fucking story.
And the
and
whole
it's all about
meaning.
that whole
meaning.
That whole time was like people of color aren't even allowed to be present. Like, we're fucking going back to Germany if she's... Oh, yeah. Heartbreaking, because this man has nothing, then he has something, and then he has to make a decision. Oh, my God. The decisions that are set up, Brian. This movie is... Maybe it should be higher. I fucking love The Promised Land. I couldn't put it any higher.
I have to put this...
It's so good.
Switch it back.
All right, so I had this thought, too, like, because we had this argument. I think it was just on the spoilers only for Dune 2 last week for Patreon, but... we were having that discussion, and I was saying, hey, maybe it's not fair for me to be getting down on the emotional side of things and the chemistry between the two leads, and I didn't feel for any. Maybe it's not fair because it's competing with spectacle, unlike something we've ever seen maybe in movies to date. Like the spectacle, save for maybe Furioso or Fury Road.
Changjin.
What?
The battle of Lake Changjin.
Oh, Changjin. It's maybe that's why it's really hard to compete with this giant spectacle, right? And actually feel emotion and feel empathy and feel anything for these characters, because you're completely bombarded with this spectacle that is very effective. And then I thought, oh no, that's not it, because there's a movie called Chappie, which people don't seem to appreciate, but they should, because that movie fucking rules. And that had similar. Neil Blomkamp crushed it with the visuals in that movie.
Okay.
And I absolutely fell hook, line, and sinker for Chappie.
You did.
So it is an emotional thing. And I am a Pab, and I do need to feel for characters. I need to be tricked into feeling for these actors playing these characters.
This feels confessional.
So that's where I'm at with Promised Land. As I'm watching, I'm just thinking, like, if I cared a fraction as much for the characters in Dune as I do, or hated I didn't hate Austin Butler. I was annoyed that he wasn't as evil as I wanted him to be. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted more. The evilness in this
Is
guy.
evil. Oh my God, the party scene with the cauldron. You're losing him. I love that. He's bombing. You're losing
And
him.
let it cool down. I'm like, oh, he wants to cool down, and then I'm like, oh wait, he wants to cool down so the first one doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus,
You're
he's way more evil than I even thought.
You're losing the crowd.
He reminded
losing
me
them.
of our old friend Max. Max.
Headroom.
I'm drawing a blank on my. All right, anyway.
Krasny.
Max Krasny. Yes, Max Krasny. I just drew a blank on my buddy's name.
I know.
Krasny. It's been too long. But he reminded me a little. The main bad guy was. Yeah, just everything you want to hate
Well,
and
you
you
like
can't hate.
Max.
I love Max. But he reminded me a little of this guy.
He has a certain flair about him.
He looks like.
That was a mini flick fashion right there.
Well, because I saw it and I didn't flick fast it, and I knew it was on the list.
And it's a European Western in a lot of ways. It has that Western pacing
does.
and that flavor and that feel to it.
You know what? And I love the Man with No Name trilogy. Didn't care a whole lot. It was a spectacle, and I absolutely love it. It's got style, and like I feel cool watching. I enjoy watching it. Like it feels like you just feel like you're watching something.
Right,
cool.
but how invested are you in Clint Eastwood's Blondie character?
Maybe you are. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I want him to like
it sounds
succeed,
like not
but
as much as this.
not as much as this. And like they really, it's just so well crafted as far as a storyline, and you see him set up with, well, this is what I was looking for. But I didn't even know I was looking for this. But maybe this is more important. But if I do that, then I can't have that. It's just like he's got. There's so much grappling going on.
And it's brutal and it's very realistic.
It feels very
relationships
honest.
between the two.
Yeah.
Between all the characters.
One of the best story arcs, character arcs I think I've seen in recent memory.
Nice.
I love it.
And all
So
the character
Promised Land.
decisions feel very genuine and believable.
The women were fantastic, and there's like a love triangles going on that you believe, and like you're rooting for it. Yeah, I love
Available
that's
to
great.
rent across multiple platforms.
Promised Land. Yeah, it probably, if I had a few weeks, it might have climbed the list even higher. I'm just afraid of recency bias, but I sat with it and I'm like, I know this movie is worthy for everything that I just yelled about.
It's
It
really,
sound-
really good.
Really good, very good.
It sounds like if anything, it should be higher. And you're keeping it down.
Just
thanks
said
to,
that because of, I'm
yeah,
afraid
thanks
of
to recency bias.
recency bias.
Oh, it's great. It really scratches
Why's it
that
not on your
Western
list?
itch.
What's the matter with you?
Because I think I didn't get to talk about it. I think that was the problem. I don't
We
know.
haven't seen it. Huh.
Nobody else I know had seen it.
The
I'm
Heath,
lost.
Brian. The Heath is very, very
The Heath.
hard. It's hard land to tame. Oh, you know that potatoes had never been heard of in 1755. I can't
That was
imagine
great.
It's like, what is this? What is this
What
thing?
is this thing comes out of the ground? That was delicious.
All right, this is a three-way tie at 10.
10? How dare you? All right, Brian, what's your? Are we taking a break? Gotta take a break.
I
don't-
am on number 3. Where are you guys?
Because I don't think we've done our sixes, right?
No, I didn't. That was my number
10,
6.
9, 8,
Okay, so I have to
7.
do my six then.
Go ahead, get
Six.
your 6. Let's start cranking them. Sorry, I just
After
took
he
too long on the
spends,
print.
after
I
he
know.
spends 10 minutes.
I know.
Mine was foreign film. Subtitles. Atomic warfare.
Wait, I'm sorry. The hot bath and the guy that we hate, he just keeps saying, "One more time for the beautiful girls." One more time for the beautiful girls. It's like, who are you saying that to? The beautiful girls hate you and they don't want that to happen.
That's what I loved. His buddy's like, you're losing the crowd. No one's liking this, sir.
One more time for
You
the
got,
beautiful
you
girls.
got to stop.
I love this movie. Might be my favorite movie of the year.
It's very good.
Promised Land. All right, I'm sorry. Go back to your
Oh,
lead.
it's good. Oh, it's got monsters in it.
Okay.
This one.
Oh, is this?
It's got war. It's Godzilla minus one.
Gojira?
I love Godzilla. I've been a Godzilla fan since I was born. I grew up on the VHSs. I had all the action figures,
Same.
all the toys. Matthew Broderick tried to waterboard me as a fucking child with that abortion of a
That
film.
movie's not that bad, but it's not good.
We've had very few, as Godzilla fans, movies to hang our hats on. I enjoyed Shin Godzilla, but it's a bit atypical as far as a Godzilla movie goes. There's not enough monstering for me. There's a lot of bureaucracy. It's very good,
Gotta love your creatures.
but you gotta love the creatures.
Yeah.
And
It's
this
a monster movie.
holy shit, what this delivered with the small budget that it had, what it was able to do with the CGI, with the filmmaking, with the inside look at the World War II in Japan on the flip side, and their view that it seems like culturally they're coming around on the cost of war and how their approach to war might not have been the wise move to just at the expense of all human life, we're going to win. That you sacrifice your life. It doesn't matter if we have no chance of winning. You die for the sake of your nation and for honor. I love that they were taking a look at that.
Yeah, this movie's very critical of of
imperialist Japan
and of today's Japan to an extent. Like, there are some big problems with this movie in Japan.
And
this
it
is the
was
only Oscar movie I regret not seeing. I couldn't. Go
and
around.
man, was
Is
it!
it
It was effective, and it also works. It works on a dramatic level, on a personal level, on the blockbuster level, and it was just really more than it needed to be. I love this. This is what I've been waiting for as a Godzilla fan for honestly 20 years.
Still not streaming.
It was phenomenal, and I believe they have already confirmed a sequel to this, which I am
Godzilla
eagerly
Minus
awaiting.
2? Please call
I
it
hope
Godzilla
so.
Minus 2.
But very creative in terms of the storytelling of their plan to try to kill Godzilla and that methodology and just the fun of him destroying the cities. It's just very, very good.
I
Very
would
well
have
done.
had it on the list, but I'm afraid that the Godzilla King Kong movie is going to make it seem silly compared to, you know what I mean?
That's
so
true.
I didn't want to, a few months from now feel embarrassed for having Godzilla -1 on when we see Godzilla hooking up with King Kong.
The minute I saw the baby monkey pointing at
We didn't see
now
that.
in IMAX.
You can only see that in IMAX. I was looking for that online to show. And my poor son, I love Atticus, but he's only 7. So, it makes sense that he loves Air Nikes to the extent that he does, and Prime, and he thinks Godzilla and King Kong are great. Like, he doesn't know yet. It's weird watching.
You have to show him the originals. You have to.
Watching
They're all on HBO
fall
Max.
for shit that they're trying to get us to fall for, and it's like it's working on the 7-year-old, but you're still trying to get us to fall for the same shit, and people do.
Report back when you do show them the originals.
I will.
Godzilla -1. Great.
Number 3 for me. Yes.
3.
Is that what we're doing now? The aforementioned Wonka. Fantastic.
That's it.
We talked about Wonka.
We did.
We talked at length. And the
Number
show's
3
getting
for you.
long.
Wow, you like it.
I liked it a lot. Again, I found it shocking there were no Oscar noms for a song or something at least.
Set design,
Yeah, exactly. Art direction.
visual effects,
It was
art
so,
direction, costumes.
such a delight.
All right, what are we? Me?
Oh, streaming now too. I think it's on
Number.
I think
HBO.
5 and then break.
We have no
HBO?
break. We have no
I think
crossover.
Yet.
Huh.
Oh no, Wonka. That was the first one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Would
5
not
for
have
me.
guessed that.
Some movies I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I think most of our listeners have seen it. I don't really have to sell it, but
Not
number
until
5.
you name Nimona as your number 1.
That's my number 5 is the holdovers. Number 5, my 5th favorite movie of the year, as far as I can tell, is the holdovers. Alexander Payne's The Holdovers. A lot of it has to do with the performance, which I'm usually not a sucker for performance-driven movies where it's like, yeah, you got to see that performance. Usually that's a sign of a boring movie. The story works for me as well as the direction. This is a movie that, one of those movies where it could have been shot and made, and if it was all actors I'd never seen before, and somebody presented it to me and said, watch this movie was made in 1978, I would have believed it. It's that kind of movie. It looks like a movie of
it
its
feels
era
steeped
from
in
that
the
time.
era,
Yeah. But obviously, I'm going to know because Paul Giamatti is a contemporary actor. I'd be like, well, how could this be from the 70s
have trouble
when he's
reconciling
not
that
10
in
years
your
old?
mind,
So, but if it was all unknown, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's an
Well,
Alexander
aside
Payne.
from Paul Giamatti, it is all unknowns.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, for the
Yeah.
most part, the lead guy was in something, but he was not a
but
household
he's
name.
no. I don't even think he's that known amongst moviegoers.
I recognized him, but I couldn't name him.
I'd never seen him.
Written by David Hemmingson, or was it? I don't know. But it felt very Alexander Payne. It was directed like an Alexander Payne movie, and
It was a
really-
welcome return to form. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, there's a guy I love.
Like I said, I rarely fall for the performance, but that's a testament to just how great Giamatti's performance was in this. I just loved this character. I felt for this character.
What about her? What about Davine?
She was good. She was really good. But Giamatti's, it's his story, and he's
True,
the one that I really.
yeah.
I didn't know Davine. I didn't know Giamatti had
Well,
this
she
in
was
him.
the spice that you sprinkle on the dish.
Yeah, we needed a little bit of that.
The main ingredient.
But and also, she livened the scenes. She made the scenes that she was in better. But it's all about Giamatti and the fact that he can make this curmudgeon a character that I would absolutely hate in real life, but really, really like in
Yes.
this role.
And empathize with.
And empathize
Enjoy
with.
watching. Don't want
A
to be
lot.
around.
And I really, really fell for the guy, and I could connect with him, and it's not somebody who I would normally be able to connect with, but he made that connection with me, and I liked it quite a bit.
This just in, Wonka is in fact streaming on Max.
Ooh, I might have to wonk it up.
Enjoy.
You haven't Wonka yet?
No.
Wonka.
Really? Oh,
Wonka.
high in the fun scale.
Are we taking a break?
Wonka.
Are we on yours?
I got to do my number 5, then we're out of here. Then we're going to break. My number 5.
Wait, I got to do number 4, right?
No.
There are a few perks of having no job and facing existential crisis and imminent financial demise.
You talking about a movie or your life?
My life. One of the benefits is I can rewatch. movies.
Rewatch. Yeah, that usually makes you like it more.
Oh yeah.
Almost always.
This week.
Dune 2 isn't from last year though. It's from this year.
No. I got to rewatch something fucking better than Dune 2.
What's that there,
Fuck
Avery?
Dune 2.
Oh, what? Hey, what?
Wow.
Blackberry.
Oh, Blackberry.
Blackberry.
Blackberry's pretty good.
Oh, I got to rewatch.
It's a good movie.
Such a sassy man. Anderson soft pedaling movies.
You
that are gonna be
sandbagging son of a
What's
bitch.
Anderson soft pedaling movies that are going to be higher. Is
Blackberry. Very good.
it's hard.
It's not bad. I mean, as far as like
say-
these biopics about products go,
I'll say.
these product picks,
I'll save for the later pile.
fucking product picks.
It's worthy of being on a list.
Oh
I
yeah.
guess.
I'll save my thoughts for later.
I
in
think
the show.
Air might have probably made it.
Yeah.
It dimmed
The
Blackberry a
Bee
little
Baby
bit.
movie,
If there was a top 12 for the year, Air might have made it.
Flaming hot.
Are you kidding me? I've not seen Air.
Air was in my top 20.
I don't
though.
think I'll ever see Air.
Air was. I did enjoy Air.
Oh, boy. We are 3 different opinions on Air. Did not see.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed.
I don't know if really enjoyed. It was very
It's in
good
your
for what
top
it
20.
was.
Number 4 for
your top 20
me.
movie?
No, we gotta
Number
go to
4.
break.
Really?
Break, yeah,
But
because
Brian's
it's
like on number 2.
number 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're
Go to
keeping me
break?
honest. All right. Oh yeah, promise.
Anderson endorses our break.
Why? Because I was off by the math. I'm dumb.
All right, more movies.
Don't call
after
yourself
we
dumb, sorry.
Talk about Amazon next.
He's so bad at reading the room. Oh, it's great.
He just thinks everyone's gonna love his shit.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't care when they don't.
One more.
And I love he can't believe anytime it goes slightly wrong. He genuinely can't believe that it is.
I can't remember hating the character that much in a long time. It's
No.
been a while since in a film where they've allowed me to hate a character and did such a good job. Because I loved it.
And
Every time
you
he's on the screen, I'm
enjoyed-
like, yes,
Oh.
I get to get my hate on here with the promise. They try and do it, like, once again with Dune. Like, I didn't hate Austin Butler. He was like, yeah. And I wasn't even scared of him. I wanted to. I wanted to really fucking hate, but I
No,
didn't.
if anything, I kind of liked him.
Yeah.
I was kind of rooting for him.
Skelling's Skarsgård character, but then again, it's like,
And you do in the first one, less in this one.
maybe true.
You want to hate? Watch yourself some Promised Land. I got to tell you, Mad's no fucking picnic either. Like, I wouldn't want to be around that
Which
guy.
I like to know.
I wouldn't want to spend time with
Fuck
that guy.
That guy.
But if he showed me any kind of like, if he nodded at me like I did a good
Gave
job,
you some
I'd
respect?
be like, oh my God, he just gave me a nod.
Or he offered you a place in his heath.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I'd be in. And I would not make him change a goddamn thing.
No.
I'm like, this is your heath. I'm not coming over here and trying to tell you how to run
The
things.
goddamn Germans.
Fucking
Jesus.
Germans.
We're taking a break.
We're in it.
Oh, we're in it. This is the break.
Sorry, Brian. Unravel.
Hey,
This is the Amazon read.
This is how the show goes every week, so enjoy. If you're new to the show, I'll just give you a heads up what's happening right now. We have a link on AndersonandBryan.com, Brian with the Y, of course, that leads you to Amazon. And if you are going to do your shopping on Amazon, consider hitting that link first. It takes you right to the site. You do your shopping as normal. It costs you literally nothing extra. However, we get a few pennies in the back end. If you buy something big, maybe we get a couple of bucks, but generally we'll make a little bit of money, and we appreciate it. It costs you nothing, very little effort other than a click. It is free, it is easy, and it is appreciated. Here are the things purchased by people this week who tapped on that link at AndersonandBryan.com. A B-Link mini PC was purchased. A Pelican case with foam. Yosuda indoor stationary bike. It'd be weird if you used it outdoors, but I guess you could. Alawi queen size platform bed frame. TCL 32-inch 1080p LED smart TV. Perhaps that was purchased to watch the Oscars. Makes sense. 3 Easy PAG wall file organizers were purchased. Someone got themselves a whole heap of Boise paper. X9 multi-use copy paper. I know. I realized as I'm reading my daughter a book last night, and the nasally thing is happening, I realized that I think it's at night when I get tired. I'm doing a lot of talking.
Your nose just gives up like it's bedtime.
Yeah, I'm really good.
Brian, it's bedtime.
My stepmom's like, you can stay up. I'm going to bed.
Do what you want.
Bucky Walks motorized ball valve. 2,
Hey now.
1049 wood wall shelves. 12, count them 12, custom engraved brass plates. DeWalt 20 volt max battery charging kit. 2, Blue Air replacement filters. 2, Unicorn Overlord games.
Did I make this joke last time you sounded like this, and that you sound like a black comedian from the 80s making fun of white people?
No, I don't think you did.
This is what
that's
it
good.
kind of sounds like that. A little bit.
Sounds like Eddie Murphy doing
Yeah.
white people.
2,
Hey, man.
copies of Unicorn Overlord were purchased. Thank you. Gear T Cat 6 Ethernet cable. HP toner cartridge, as well as Brother toner cartridge. Thank you guys. Shoes for cruise, slip resistant sneakers. Apple AirTags 4-pack. A First Alert home fire extinguisher. Solomon Outpulse Gore-Tex hiking shoes. TP-Link 5-port fast Ethernet PoE switch, as well as a Cable Matters 4-point USB switch hub. A pair of Skechers slip-in loafers were purchased. ISO Pure protein powder, and finally, click through and bought up with our link was Pure Encapsulations fish oil concentrate. Not bad.
Got the post.
No, I feel bad. Brian, why you sound like that?
I don't know. Make them tired.
Here are the movies that click. This is the last time I talked at y'all. Not one person, two people. Got Anatomy of a Fall. They clicked through and got the Anatomy of a Fall.
Smart.
Hopefully, you weren't as frustrated with the ending as I was. 2 people, not one, but 2 people got the zone of interest. It's like they got to watch 4 movies right there. 2 movies in one, 2 people got it. And you're watching 2. It's like you're watching 2 movies. It's like your brain is doing like overtime, right? When you're watching that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot to. They don't spoon feed you with that movie.
But I've never seen a movie. It's quite obvious, but I've never seen a movie where the visuals are telling me one thing and the audio is telling me a completely different story.
That's right.
Right?
Except for the battle at Changjin.
Because a lot of people would have just said, you know what, let's make a movie where we show this, and then we see what the dad goes to work, and we spend some time over there with the atrocities, and we show that, and then he comes back to work, and he acts like everything's normal, and then we go, but no, it's the same time, and I really wish they never went over there once.
It's
he
like
he went over once. He spent, and we don't see anything. We just see like a shot from below, looking up at him with a cloud and the smoke going by him, and he's like looking pleased. But like I wish that he never went over to the other side. I wish we never followed him.
It's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but with killing shoes.
No.
I think that's on the box art.
That was the tagline.
Ju-On the Grudge was clicked through, as well as Caddyshack, Loving. Oh, Loving was tough. Trolls World Tour, Fondo Elise showing up, Perfect Days, The Promised Land. Fuck yes. What is this? The Raid Redemption. Fuck yes. Perfect Days. Argyle. What? Argyle can already click through. Perfect Days. Perfect Days twice. Perfect Days was twice. Captain America. Sorry, I Captain America 1979.
I didn't know
That's a
it
treat.
existed.
Captain America 2, Death Too Soon. Yeah, I'd say so. It came out in 1979 as well. I mean, we get Captain America in 1979, and then the same year we get Captain America 2,
They
Death Too
couldn't
Soon.
wait.
And then 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, double feature. Oh, that's pretty good. Fuck yes, right there. And then a Beverly Hills Cop, 3-movie collection.
Fuck yes.
You get Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Beverly Hills Cop is a top 5 all time for me.
Especially for that genre, right? The action comedy.
I mean,
off
just
way off
period.
mine.
Doesn't get any better. Really?
Top 5 all time for me.
Someone, I think it was Abby on our Facebook
He is
page.
running away from the mic.
Yeah, why? Why do you hate the mic?
Someone, I believe it was Abby on our Facebook page, says she finally, after all these years, caught up. We can turn this on, with Beverly Hills Cop.
That was Anderson. That was the Anderson in me.
I'm controlling it with the force.
And that was a smart move. It's a very enjoyable film.
She caught up with what?
Beverly Hills
What,
Cop.
Oh, smart.
Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours?
Beverly Hills Cop.
No, both of you guys?
100%.
Oh, 48 Hours. 100%.
I can watch.
40 Hours, very good, but
Yes.
if you give me the choice.
I love the Beverly Hills Cop, and it is very fun, goes down very smooth. But once you watch 48 Hours a couple times, it's like, holy shit.
I could watch that every day.
These two are like super cops.
I don't get the reference.
Like,
Oh.
I like the
yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop. Just the music.
48 Hours is great. Really good. But if I had to choose,
Beverly Hills Cop is a 5.5 star movie.
well done.
But Eddie Murphy is just as funny. He might be funnier in 48 Hours. Plus, you got him playing off
The
Nick
whole
Nolte.
package is better.
you got more characters. You got more character actors in there. You got more.
The two cops
You got more
playing
tight
off Eddie
scenes.
Murphy is phenomenal. Man, it does a good job of the comedy mixed with the actual gritty action of the cop procedural.
Yeah, there's actually like a plot you cared about.
You seen Judge Reinhold lately?
No.
I looked him up the other day.
Is it upsetting?
Yeah.
Is he puffy?
I guess he got thrown out of an airport. He's really embarrassed about it now.
He's not doing well.
He like lost his shit at TSA or something.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah, it is understandable, but it's just like he's not. It's sad because I love that Judge Reinhold. Love him. Sad.
Indeed. Brought me a lot of joy in my life.
Tailpipe. All right.
On that note,
I should have brought that up. You know what? Can we mark that? I don't want to fucking. Like, he was embarrassed by it, and I'm like, I'm bringing it back. Why did I bring that up? I should have told you guys. I'm not broadcasting that. Can we please?
You're gonna have to text me after this.
Seriously.
Remind me.
Yeah, you'll remember.
I will not.
All right.
I'm not gonna remember.
Cut Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold's embarrassed.
Okay, let's get clean back in. Yeah, it's sad. You'd think that he would be like, one of those actors making a big comeback right now. He should.
it's time.
Tarantino, give him a call. All right.
Oh, that'd be good.
Back to the program.
Two more left for me. 7 or 8 left for
Nope.
you. So
16 at least.
how much costs over here? Oh no. Oh, Avery. Shoot, I should ask you to plug this in.
Oh,
Out of
boy.
juice. Out
Oh,
of
boy.
juice.
Brian is out of juice.
I'm
His camera
juiceless. I'm
light.
juiceless.
Crossover, none.
I know for a fact that I have one movie that was mentioned already.
One.
One.
That's upsetting.
And I have one movie that I would be surprised if it didn't come up.
Where are we at? We're doing our
Avery, number 4.
4.
Yeah.
Or Anderson. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Number 4 for me is Nimona. Previously mentioned Nimona. It is
Yes.
an amazing animated film that should be seen by
I don't know. I
everyone,
heard a couple of reviews that were
all
very positive.
ages, and most people, save for some angry Rotten Tomato critics, are going to love Nimona. The
How much-
messaging's there. It's dark enough that like you can be kind of like, how are they getting
A
away with it?
man loses his arm 5 minutes in the film.
I think I said this when I flickfested the first time. No notes on the old Nimona.
And
but
there's gay intrigue in the first 5
That's
minutes.
right.
it's like
There's
dark.
dudes kissing dudes.
I guess edgy. I don't know if that's the right word, but it goes places where Disney would
For
never
a kids
go.
movie, it's
It's
very
almost
edgy.
like a bunch of like the kids that work at Disney. When I say kids, I mean like talented young adult or talented adults who work at Disney, who are kind of outcasts, are like, you know what? Fuck you, Disney. We're gonna go make our own thing over here in this part of town, and we'll come back. We'll come back, but we're gonna go over here, the slummiest side
There's
of
no
town,
solo
and we're gonna
projects.
make our own little thing, and we're gonna raise some money, and we're gonna do it. And it looks great, and it does follow some of the boxes you need to tick to keep kids interested. Plus, the story was right there, but for the most part, it broke lots of new ground, and the message is on the nose, but it's a message that we can
We all get behind.
do well to hear repeatedly, which is just don't fucking judge a book by its cover. Do not be mean to something and awful to something because it's different. Because look what will come. The chickens will come home. The roosters will come home to roost. Is that what it is? Chickens?
Chickens will come
Chickens.
on.
They're going to come home to roost. Doesn't matter when they come home. They come home to roast usually.
They
Right? You
can
just eat
roost
them.
over
Why-
there.
why-
Hey, how much higher would this be had I not come in here saying how great Nimona was?
No, number 4 is pretty
Well, I'm saying
goddamn
it might be
high.
the
Wait
movie
till
of
you
the
hear what's
year.
after it, Brian. I got 3 others
Might
that
be the number 1 movie of the year if I hadn't come in here telling you.
No, that'd be
think
Promised
so.
Land.
I really like Nimona. Tears did leak from my eyes while watching Nimona.
I think
Not
I
because
got
I
a
was
little-
sad.
I think I got a little dusty.
And it wasn't because of sadness. It wasn't. It was one of those things where I was just in awe. I was in awe of Nimona and what it was doing to
Nimona
my
was
brain.
sweet.
How much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was extremely enjoyable.
Yeah.
This was quite
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I did get dusty at the end, and I do remember trying to button it up, and my wife making fun of me, and my son being uncomfortable when I was crying at the end.
Your kids get a lot of therapy.
I think my 2024 is unbutton it. Unbutton it.
You're trying to unbutton.
I'm no longer
Let it
fighting
loose. Let it hang out.
let it happen.
Let it flop out.
Remember when my wife told me to button it up? I can't remember what I was watching, but I was really crying bad. She's like, "Would you button it up?"
What were you watching?
I can't remember. It happens so often, Brian. I can't
Giovanni,
remember.
tell us. What was Anderson watching?
All right, what's your?
I think I could legitimately cry at almost every movie.
Yeah, there's an
Battle
argument
of
to be made.
Changjin.
If there's anything 3.5 or greater, I could probably cry.
What's your number 4?
Probably cry. My number 4. There's a weekend
When he drove away with that bomb.
this summer. People were losing their shit in theaters.
Oh, yeah. Taylor Swift.
No. There was a battle between two movies.
There was.
Most people saw
Barbie.
both.
Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
One was heavily nominated and won many rewards.
You're being worse than Brian with your lead up.
I enjoyed the latter.
See, this is what happens in Avery talk.
I love Barbie.
Yeah, we
Barbie,
know.
I
We're all
also
aware.
rewatched. I
We've
was
heard
blown
enough.
the fuck away by it. I delighted in Ken's performance. I thought Margot Robbie was absolutely snubbed along with Greta Gerwig. I really was impressed with her on the second watch through because Ken is very grabby. It's easy to like him the first
Yeah.
time through. Margot Robbie is doing a ton.
She was
lot of heavy lifting?
Heavy lifting.
I heard Brian's wife talking a lot about that.
America Ferrera was.
This would have been on my list, Avery. I love this movie, but with my clever, like, leaving off the Oscar movies, this is one of the 7 that got cut. One of the final 7 that got cut.
I liked Barbie quite a bit. It's just it didn't have the same impact as it did. Like when it would start to do a thing, I'd be like, "This is great. This is awesome," and then like 3 minutes later, I'd be like, "Okay, I get it. Let's move on to the next
I
thing."
found it very fresh. I found it very funny. Really responded to it. And I liked what it was saying. And I liked that it commented on both feminism and
Yeah, I
masculinity
agree.
too, and how it traps both men and women and the effect it has on both and how
So-
we can meet in the middle. And I really, really enjoyed the movie.
I agree with you. I remember going into it thinking, oh, I hope this will be, and I think this will be a smart movie. Right? I mean, like I'm going in like,
Yeah.
all right, smart people involved. This
Sublime.
is gonna be a clever comedy, and it was. I didn't expect it to be, dare I say, borderline profound.
Yes,
Like there was some profundity in this movie.
absolutely.
Where I would never expect it, and it was.
Will
really,
Ferrell's hysterical.
Well,
I love
that's
how
just
they-
that's like the only part of, well, not the only, far from it, but the main part of like the broad, no pun intended, broad comedy. Where I was like, all right, this is just bubblegum. And just-
No, but it's not because it was really taking down Mattel, which is shocking.
Yeah, but
And
that's easy.
it's not easy when they're funding
Oh,
the
well,
movie. I was kind of surprised that they were allowed to be as poignant about some of the things they
I
were
don't know.
saying about
in the day of
commercialism.
John Oliver and making fun of Business Daddy, I think that.
Do you think HBO is happy about that though? Do you think that they?
But I think
are
the
excited?
lid is off. You know what I mean? I think that like, no one gives a shit. As long as you make the money, no one cares who you make fun of.
Sir, there'll be things we've never seen before, like a choir of 10,000 young fathers or a podcast hosted
Yeah.
by trees. It was great.
I like.
Oh, I
like-
loved
Good
it.
movie.
Kate McKinnon is phenomenal
I'm really
as
glad it's on
Weird
your
Barbie.
list.
I loved this movie. Streaming on Max. Definitely check it out, especially if you're like,
Everyone's checked it out.
I don't
Everyone
know.
has seen this movie.
I feel like there might be some holdouts who are
We
like,
should do a
it's a
poll."
chick movie. See, Barbie. Fucking great. Fucking great.
Number 3 for me is a movie that might. I'm going to be disappointed with both you fuckers if this movie is just forgotten by both of you and has been lost. They cloned Tyrone. Number 3 for me. Oh, Brian. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Okay.
Number 2 for me, they clone Tyrone.
Back to the yes.
Yes, there
Good.
it is.
I was worried. I was
High in
concerned.
the fun scale.
Very fun. Speaking of saying something, this movie. Do you think that they could repackage Barbie and maybe bring some momentary peace to the Middle East? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because it feels like that's what
100%.
that high on the. Okay. Back to
Oh,
they
I love
cloned.
me some Barbie.
Back to they cloned Tyrone.
Directed by Jewel Taylor and his feature, her feature debut.
Jewel Taylor is a female,
There you go.
male.
Wait, what?
It's a dude.
All right, I don't know where. to
Long
go.
haired dude. Jewel.
That's half a chick.
Yeah, Jewel. Also one of the writers on Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Oh, I knew I liked it for a reason.
Also a writer on Creed 2, as well as Date Night. Jewel showed.
You're not helping.
Jewel showed his directing chops with They Cloned Tyrone.
Yeah, it's very. This one had the social commentary I was hoping for.
And
The goddamn hot chicken.
it was a dark comedy for sure. It was an episode of Black Mirror,
Atlanta.
What else do I have to say about this?
It's got some black dynamite in there.
The thing I admired most about this movie is how it vacillated between real grittiness and like just outright silliness.
But the silliness stayed in the grittiness,
But
and it
it
didn't
worked.
take away from the
But it
grittiness because you
worked.
could see that actually happening in the grittiness. And a lot of that is because of Jamie Foxx and how great his performance
He's
was.
phenomenal.
And I'm not a Jamie Foxx fan, but he fucking nailed it in this, and he really grounded the movie, which sounds weird, but the movie was so out there, and he was out there, but he was believable in a way that from that era, even though it was contemporary because they were talking about like Twitter or like contemporary things. The movie, like you're off balance the entire movie in the best possible way.
Yeah. Pimp of the year.
Yeah, so it takes place in this bad part of town called the Glen, and it's really a three-hander, and it's about a pimp, a hoe, and a drug dealer, right?
It is.
That's what she's called in the movie.
Archetypes.
Blockchain, that's what it is. That's that blockchain and crypto is referenced in this movie.
Okay.
And so it's not. It seems like it's from the 70s,
It's got
but
a
it's not.
70s feel to it.
It's one of the darkest shot comedies I've ever seen. It's a dark comedy for sure, but it's just dark.
It's
The
literally
movie's
dark.
dark, and usually you don't see comedies that are just like shot like because cinematographers all want everything to look dark. They allowed that to happen in this movie. It's dark in the. Don't watch it during the daytime.
This movie should not have worked.
But the wee spelunking scene was fucking
And there was so much going on.
so much going on.
The end with the news, I love where the white news reporter is like,
That was
so
so
we're
Atlanta.
out here and what's going on? He's like, we out here doing it's
If someone
so
described this to you, like by scene, you'd be like, oh, that's too much.
That's too much.
The only,
yeah.
The only part that didn't work for me was
Kiefer.
the middle scene with Kiefer.
Kiefer.
That's the only part that didn't work.
It was a little too cutesy.
It was too much.
Remember Sorry to Bother You? Bootsy?
Yes.
Like, I like that, and the horse cock was,
Danny
out
Glover.
of nowhere. But this movie is similar.
Well,
in
this
what,
is the evolution of Get Out for me. This is like what Get Out opened the door for a movie like this.
It's Get Out meets Black Dynamite.
Lost on Netflix a little bit, and some might make an argument, especially I'm obviously a little sensitive to just being called a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian all the time. Fuck no. This movie,
It's great.
Absolutely love this movie.
great.
And it's deserved of being in my top 5. And like I said, like a lot of these movies, you can just pull them out of a hat because they're all.
But
really good
this
for
was the
different
year
reasons.
of the 4-star film. There were like a 30 or 40 4-star
This
films.
is a 4.5-star movie. It's not 5. It's not perfect, but it's a 4.5-star movie, and I love it.
I
Yeah,
think
there's
Kiefer
enough-
knocked it down to 4
There's
for me.
enough little flaws in this that did knock it down to 4, but overall, a very good and smart movie.
So John Boyega, who is probably one of
Unrecognizable.
my favorite actors, unrecognizable in this movie, scary as fuck in this movie.
It's got the wire in there a bit.
It's got a little wire. But speaking of grounding, like the movie needed grounding, obviously, to make it so you take it seriously, you take this environment seriously, and you take these characters seriously. But it would have been such a drag if it was just all that. Jamie Foxx grounding it in his reality, which is a different type of world, and you believe that character lives in that universe, and it makes it it's salty and sweet.
Might be the most I've ever liked Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
And
for sure. It's my
Jamie
favorite.
Foxx.
It's my favorite Jamie Foxx role,
I
kind of
like
by a
him
long
too.
shot. And I want to say it's my favorite John Boyega. I think
Star Wars.
Red, White, and Blue from Small Axe is probably still my favorite role, where he played the cop who gave up being a scientist to go and become a cop to try and change the culture from within. That was probably my favorite role that I've seen him in thus far. But he was great in this. He was scary as fuck. Like he was just a mean, bad motherfucker. Yeah, and like you spend time with him. Like you're hanging out. You're waking up with him in the morning. You're going through his day, and you see that what's scary about him too is he's choosing to not care because that's the only way he can survive. It's not like he's a sociopath. It's not like he's looking to be at the top of his game. He's just trying to survive, and in doing so, he has to just turn a fucking blind eye to shit that's happening and make decisions that are going to be bad for other people just so he can make the next step. Not even get the leg up or destroy his. It's just it's a harsh reality, but he nailed it. Love that. That clone Tyrone. A little silly at the end. Rivals the silliness of Get Out.
Are you talking about before the news footage, or are you talking about
The news footage. I thought it was hilarious. It
I
was
thought it was
funny.
great.
I love
But
the
I
news
think that
footage.
it kind of maybe if there was, I don't know.
I loved it.
Nah.
Not just the news footage also, but just the explanation and the big reveal. A little silly, but yet you have to take the leap, and I think it earned it, and I was able to take the leap there.
But I think the news footage kind of grounded it for me a little bit too.
The news footage was hilarious. It ended on a very funny note, but I think that the end and the big reveal for Get Out was exceptionally silly and foolish, and people love that. So,
Like I said, you gotta take that leap.
this is a serious question. All right, I just equated this movie to 2 black movies, and while this is a very black movie, is that like some kind of aren't there other movies that I could be comparing this to that aren't black movies? I'm sorry to bother you.
I don't know because
Black
it is
movie
very
and Get
particular.
I guess because of the subject
And I
matter.
compared it to Black Dynamite. I mean, it's got all those.
Yeah, it's inextricable from the plot.
I'll fix it. Candyman from a couple of years ago.
Oh, here,
That's
Very
here we go. Cabrini.
Cabrini. Similar, but way more fun.
Wait, this.
Yeah,
Oh, more fun. Yeah. I
Candyman.
agree.
Yeah.
All right, David, number 4.
I would, yeah.
Is it my number 3?
Yeah, you gotta hope that they clone
That-
Tyrone is still on
Tyrone's your 3?
Netflix.
No. Barbie was my.
Oh, gotcha.
I got to do my 3 because
Oh,
that was
are we
Tyrone
on
was
the-
your 3 or your 4?
3.
So we're on a number 1 for you, number one and 2 for you two.
Oh Jesus! See, Brian, do you see the problem?
I'm.
We're finishing up our number 2, so it's the last because I'm doing number 3.
All right, go do your
My number 3. Again, another rewatch. I had the privilege of rewatching what is now streaming on Amazon. Fucking Bottoms.
Wow.
For my money, the funniest movie
Whoa.
of the year.
Really, Brian? Brian? Is Bottoms coming to the top for Brian too?
No, there's no way. I loved Bottoms. I rewatched it because I wasn't sure. I thought, okay, maybe I was just blown away by this. Was I correct? Was
Because
it
you
as
weren't
funny as I
expecting.
thought? Was I just caught up in the atmosphere and
Yeah.
the unexpectedness of it
Right.
all? No, this movie is hysterical, and the performances are just completely spot on. Marshawn Lynch is hilarious, but it's buoyed by the two leads who are just funny in every scene. And I love that it's illustrated in the credits that a lot of this was improvised too. I love that it ends in the credits with bloopers. I think this does an even better job than Barbie at satirizing the male and female dynamic, where we're at as a society with men and women, and it's just so funny.
Are you doing a trifecta?
Or whether or not it's the football players just constantly in uniform, or just the female. I love how Marshawn Lynch just like writes like feminism a mistake. Crosses it.
There's
Just
a lot
great.
of good
Oh, it's
satire.
great.
It is very, very funny.
I love.
It's on my also reds for sure. Like if I was doing top
Love
5 team,
Bottoms.
It's one
Bottoms
of my
makes the list.
17 that
I was blown away.
a short list.
And you
Loved
watched
it.
it a second time.
It's an all timer for me. I love. But this was painfully funny to me.
Do we know what your number 1 is? Are all three of us going to?
Oh, I got a 1 and a 2.
Oppenheimer's
Mission
not going to be on there.
Mission
For any
Impossible.
three of us.
Oppenheimer's 1 and 2.
Fast X.
All right, so see, Brian, we all have to do our 3 at the end. We can't have Brian doing
Do
number
your
1.
2s.
Okay.
That's
and
true.
we'll do 1.
Number 2 for me, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Most people are very, very familiar with Poor Things.
It is my number 2 as well.
Very surprised that I loved Poor Things as much as I did.
It's one of those. That was Barbie I took off the list to be clever.
Even though, that's number 6 and 7 for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, why did you take these off?
Because I had 7 at the end.
'Cause he's a
and
pig, a misogynistic
I'm sweating
pig.
the list, and I'm like, wait, I'll just take off the 2 on Oscars, and then I got 5.
Why would he-
Oh,
Why
yeah,
would he-
because he wanted to keep it where it's all Oscar free except for, which was
Why?
it? Nimona.
Why?
Because he cares more about what, like, kind of cat. He gets really OCD and weird. With
That's
this.
true.
It's not actually about emotion and feeling. It's about like what would go like neatly.
Yeah.
Like I could put this
How
all
does-
in a cabinet
How does that list work?
in the same folder because it would be Oscar free, but for one.
But then when you look back on it in 5 years, you're gonna go, how the fuck
He
was
did that just earlier tonight. Did you hear him reading his Vaulties from last year? He's like, oh, I need to
That's what
probably
I'm
make.
saying.
It's not honest.
Just next year, he's gonna go. Poor Things wasn't on this.
I'm gonna be like, Barbie, what the fuck? That should have been like.
Dude,
that
I had
too.
Zootopia as my number 1 because I couldn't lie. I was embarrassed by it. I don't like that it's my number. I'm supposed to be some kind of film critic who like digs deep and likes like disturbing fucking French movies. But when Zootopia fucking
You
accessed
had
my soul,
Zootopia over Moana?
we're not doing this again. You know what I did today? I thought of you actually. Atticus was getting his haircut at this place called. It's like got Wizard of Oz themes for kids. They got Disney movies on there, and I heard him. I was over there playing because they got the stand-up video games. They
Oh,
got
nice.
the
The arcade
cabinet
game,
arcade games. Yeah, so I'm playing Galaga. It's my go-to game, and he's getting his haircut next to me. And I hear that she's like, "Have you seen this movie?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "You've seen that?" I'm like, "That's Moana, buddy. You've seen that." I go back to the game. I'm like, "Oh, that's Lilo and Stitch. Sorry." Similar movies, same
Fucking
movie. I'm like-
racist.
And then I'm like, "Oh,
Same
Brian,
region.
Brian will be very mad."
Similar region.
I'm very mad.
It was a very poorly lit television. Like you could tell it's on 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
For 30 years, so it was hard to tell what was going
The
on.
tube is long since burnt out.
But yeah, Poor Things. I foolishly was affected by the trailer. I should have known better because Yargos has not let me down, save for the movies that I went back and watched before Dogtooth, like The Alps and something else didn't really wow me. But Yargos always makes stuff that really I love. And I should have realized that he was taking a swing here, and he was probably gonna make contact. And boy, did he! I loved Poor Things. They somehow crammed all of the worst parts of the movie in the trailer. I don't know how you market it. I guess they probably should have put more Ruffalo in there. Emma Stone, of course, is fantastic.
Yeah.
But what more are you gonna say about Poor Things?
Ruffalo deserved an honorary Oscar. He should have been recognized.
They should name the award after.
Yes. He was. I would love to see him and
We'll see
Jamie
him next year.
Him and Jamie Foxx from They Clone Tyrone just talk, just have a conversation.
I would like to see him and the guy from Promised Land having a conversation about ladies. The protagonist.
Why are we seeing
the
Ruffalo
antagonist.
next year?
What's that?
Why are we seeing Ruffalo next year?
Because of the thing where they bring back all the nominees from last year to talk to
No,
the
those are
nominees.
only the winners. The winners they brought back
previous
from different
years.
years.
Oh, it was winners? I thought it was just the
No, winners.
Winners of previous years. Yeah, you thought Jessica Lange was nominated last year?
I don't pay attention. Hey, so how much we did that for the watch along this, and we watched all the Oscars, and all three of us absolutely despise that. On my way home, I'm listening to news
I heard
radio.
people liked it.
People loved it.
Oh,
People thought it was great.
Wow.
It's really nice because even if they don't win, at least they got a nice little speech, and they got recognized.
That's what the award is for, you idiot.
That's what the nomination.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like the thing that rubs the average person wrong about the Oscar is that it's rich, famous people self-satisfying themselves. And this was
More of that. Yeah.
This was that times
It was
10.
like gravy on your gravy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds good, actually.
Poor Thing's phenomenal. X-rated Barbie. I've heard it described as that, and I haven't been able to shake it.
It is filthy. Like, it's one of those movies where you're watching it, you're just like disgusted and like, holy shit, how? Like, I'm embarrassed for watching. Like, I feel like my soul might be getting damaged. And then you walk away from it and you're like, oh, it's a good movie.
And you're somehow elevated.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've lived the
but
human
you forget
experience.
about just how
She earned
filthy it is. Like, it is a filthy.
Oh, I love all the stages of it. It's just such a delight. And I will never, as long as I live, I will never forgive Gerard fucking Carmichael for tarnishing
sullying the
what
movie.
should have been a
Not his
5-star.
fault.
It
You
absolutely.
get the part, you do your best. It's not his
He's
fault.
the only son of a bitch who had no idea what movie he was in. And it was such an important role where the entire hurt changes the character.
You're right. Now you're making
him
me mad because you're right. It
walking
can never
her
be
through
undone.
it.
It can never be undone.
And he just fucked it. He just fucked it so bad. And it's unforgivable.
Just let the girl do that. Let the woman do that.
Yeah.
That big heavy lady.
He just ruined it.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece, and he just
Does it win Best Picture if he's not in it?
4.5-star movie, and it would have been 5. Easy.
5.5.
Without Gerard.
All right, where are we going now?
And it makes me so he's like the only black character. And he was the worst part.
Oh,
How
look
dare
at
you,
you.
Gerard?
Why you got to play the race card this
How
late in the
dare
game?
you.
Seriously.
How dare you?
All right,
We have a nice show going.
number 1 for
Upsetting.
you. This is a 3-hour show. We're going to do a fucking 3
Are
hours.
we already on number 1 for all of us?
I think so.
This show's for people.
What do you mean already? We're like 2 hours, 40 minutes in the fucking program.
Number 1, Brian.
What if we all said at the same time?
Are we really all three doing this?
What
No.
if we all said it
There's
at the
no
same
way we're all lining up. No way when we are outliers on this. When I'm an
All
outlier
right.
on this.
On 3. Name your number 1.
Look, he's setting us up.
My number 1's already been said.
So is mine. Oh, wait, you're not on this. You're not on our page. Because, wait, you and I are on the same fucking page for this? Are we really, Brian? This is, wait a minute.
1, 2, 3.
Raspberry.
Oh, see, I was close.
Yeah, close. Very close.
Wow.
Raspberry.
What is your number 1?
Blackberry, buddy. Really?
Yeah, it's
I'm
shocked with Brian.
In a
I'm
year-
shocked with you.
Are you?
Yeah.
no,
I mean, I knew you liked it. I knew it was going to be on there, but I didn't think it'd be number 1.
I wasn't. I'm like, am I giving this movie too much credit? And like you, I went back.
I felt
I did the
same thing.
rewatch.
I rewatched and
And I went, nope.
holy shit.
I might be underselling it.
I said, yes, this
No.
movie deserves all the accolades I've been given it.
In a year where there's no clear number 1, this is as clear as it gets for me.
It's so well constructed.
It is.
And like I said,
and sorry, could be overly familiar and kind of dull and predictable. That like it's a true fucking story, and it's a tropey, potentially story we all know, right? The rise and fall of the big company.
it's all right there, and it's great that it's an actual true story. But the characters that they put, and I know the characters didn't sing like this. Of course they didn't. The characters that Matthew Johnson put together and wrote out and fleshed out for this story to take place before our eyes, and each scene is better than the last. And you're watching something you're like, I love that. That was a great scene. I wish there was more of that. I wish that scene wasn't over. And then the next one, it just rolls into another scene that's even better. It's just the use of fucking actual songs that we're all familiar with, that the music choices
Yes.
here, the music direction, some of the best I've ever seen. each
the character arcs in believable ways.
How is this not your number one? What would that have been if all three of us were on? If Brian and I had it, and then the producer had the same. What is your number one? What? Wait, is Avery ending? Has he already said his number one?
No, I haven't said mine.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this is wrong. Wait, Blackberry's not my number one.
I mean, I don't have to go on at length for mine. I can just say mine, and we can go back to Blackberry. Mine's the Holdovers. I was delighted by it. I'm going to see it every year for Christmas. I was blown away by it. I really, really responded to it. Loved Giamatti. Loved Devine. It was just heartwarming and real, and I loved it. I was blown away.
I could see,
and I could have spent 7 hours in that little town.
I could see a situation, Anderson, film schools down the road where they have a course or a part of a course where they side by side compare Blackberry to like Air and say these are ostensibly similar movies, came out the same year. One of them is amazing and one of them is TV movie. What's the difference? And they got to like dissect it and say like, oh, this and this and this.
I just love Matthew Johnson. I mean, that guy is like, much like
spectacular.
I love Cummings, Jim Cummings. Like these two guys are forces of nature that should be celebrated and should be given carte blanche and should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And the way that I saw this, somebody sent me a clip of Matthew Johnson going on, I think it was Letterboxd, and he was like, all right, he's chewing gum. He's just sitting there with his camera, and he's like, all right, bring it, guys. What do you got? Right after Blackberry got released, like on the internet, and he's like, what do you got? What do you got to say about it? And he's just like reading all the negative reviews and like reviewing the reviews and how bad they are. The guy's just got fucking style, pizzazz. He made The Dirties, which we first saw like 10, 12 years ago, which is, I can't say why it's so ballsy because it gives away the reveal, but it is one of the ballsiest movies I've ever seen made. It is fantastic. I absolutely, totally recommend The Dirties. And then he followed it up with Operation Avalanche, which didn't quite hit the mark. He was swinging. He tried. It was all about Kubrick faking the moon landing. All right. And it was good. There was a phenomenal car chase scene in there, which it was great. One of the best car chase scenes I've ever seen. But for the most part, he just wasn't quite. He was trying to make something big. Here, he makes it's a small movie. It's a smaller story. I guess it's a big story in the grand scheme of things. But as far as like the main players in the movie, and all three, Baruchel, the best I've ever seen him. He's
phenomenal.
Perfect for the role. Matthew Johnson himself.
And his little idiosyncrasies that he's got and what bothers him. And you can tell that he's always somewhat distracted by his intelligence. And he's just thinking.
Obviously, he's on the spectrum a little bit, which they don't lean into and be like, look, he's that weird guy on the spectrum. Like he has his stuff. And that's how a lot of people on the spectrum are. You don't even know that they're autistic until you really like spend a lot of time with them. You don't like label them as autistic. Yeah. Those are the things. I think my wife might be autistic, and it's
But that scene where they're doing the pitch, and he leaves the phone prototype in the cab, and Glenn is up there,
so many,
and he's blustering, and then the guy goes, "They took you for a ride, buddy. You can't fucking do this." He explains he's like because of X, Y, and Z, and Glenn's standing there thinking, "Did I just
talking about Glenn Howerton, who I think will be up for an Academy Award at some point if he could have been for this.
He should have been. It was amazing where he's just thinking, "Did I get taken for a ride by these nerds?"
And then the
turn with Baruchel coming in.
So there's so many moments. There's so many moments like that in this movie.
It's the whole movie.
Like, fuck yeah, and then you're like, fuck no, and you're like, yes. It's a constant like
roller coaster,
just roller coaster of emotion, and you're just feeling for these characters, and you love and you hate and you're mad, and you're like, God, this guy's complicated. I want to I appreciate, but I hate him, but oh no, but it actually. All of that in this movie.
And I want to go back to a second.
And it's slick, too.
What are pirates afraid of? Sharks.
Let's get them. And hilarious all the way through.
What this movie could have been. Because think about the story of the BlackBerry phone. It's not remarkable.
It's just like Social Network.
If Avery said to us, hey guys, I got to tell the story of this phone. Like, we're like, all right, well, it's semi-interesting. I mean, it's
all about the characters that he had.
It's all about the nuances.
Like, roll out the story for us.
Right.
Play the part.
The story of Michael Jordan and the Air Jordans is a compelling story.
I have no input here.
But no, what I'm saying.
But the way it was executed was not remarkable.
Yes, the story. Like, if I told you how Michael Jordan came to Nike, you'd be like, wow, that's pretty interesting. What this could have been is so much less than what it ended up being.
Okay, so I can tell you my take on that is Matthew Johnson is the real fucking deal. Like, he is like a mini Tarantino. Like, he loves movies. He's passionate as fuck. It's not like he clocks in at 9, goes home at 5, and does the work. He's constantly doing his all to and constantly ruminating and thinking, and it's obsessive, and it shows.
I mean, they have movie night in the movie, and it's very deliberate what they're choosing, and they're constantly quoting movies, and the way they do it feels very appropriate and of the time, and
Feels
it's topical quotes for that, and the way he's quoting Dune and all that. It's great.
Dune and Doom makes an appearance.
They're pretending to negotiate.
That's so good.
And then he's just going, he's just quoting, he's just like, those Wall Street.
And you care about the character, you care about their friendship, and you're heartbroken by certain things. I don't want to give things away because I think a lot of people still have not taken the plunge, whether it's this or the 3-part miniseries.
where's the
AMC Plus.
I need to-
No, it's on Hulu now. You can see it on Hulu.
No, it's not. It is now. As of last week, it wasn't.
I saw it on Hulu.
The movie is.
I haven't
not
seen
the
that.
3-part series. I'm kind of curious to see what they did with that. I love this movie that much that I could watch
I
it
am
again.
too.
It's slick.
But the movie is on Hulu now.
It's just got that punch, that indie, raw filmmaking, but it works. But
it still feels polished.
It's polished in a very documentarian style way.
Yes.
Like they even have like the beta tape type footage of what's going on.
It's very
in
telemarketers too. I like the opening.
Telemarketers, a little Succession style with the which I don't like. They don't do a whole lot of the Zoom,
But they did it very effectively with the
upset me. But ultimately, it's just about the characters, the 3 very different characters, and the way that they intermix is just it's magic. This is a amazing movie, and I thought what, it came out early.
We have end-to-end
It kinda
two-way
surprised me.
encrypted texting that you can send as many as you want. What the fuck does that mean? Free texting.
Fuck
yes. So good.
It's amazing how this guy can just remember dialogue and
It just
spit it
burned
out.
into my brain.
But
I have an excuse.
It's just I have none. Yeah, it's just like the cold open, and then with the kicks of the music, there's just so many the same kind of feeling I feel like when my team scores a goal, or because I love hockey, and I try to explain to my brother why I love hockey so much. I'm like, you're just sitting there and you're on pins and needles, and you're like, and then they score a goal. I feel so much joy and happiness. Yes. When they score a goal, I feel like there's multiple goals scored throughout this movie.
Oh yeah,
and there's the hockey backdrop, which is just bonus. That's
True.
just added value.
Good news. Hulu, yes, as of right now, has the standalone movie. And if you're not a Hulu subscriber, Amazon is renting the full movie.
Now, truth be told, this comes out last year. I mean, it's still in the top 5, but it's not my number 1 movie. It doesn't beat out Dinner in America. But I think more people would like Blackberry than Dinner in America. That's
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Why it is absurd to me
I agree with that.
that this movie was buried the way it was. It got
They
limited
didn't know
release.
There was no big Matthew Johnson, Jay Baruchel was like the biggest name in it.
No. I push back on that. Glenn Howerton is in one of the biggest shows
Yeah,
of all
feels
time.
like it was underpromoted.
It's massive on the internet.
Is it?
Always Sunny's a huge showing
Is
on
it? I didn't know
Reddit.
that.
Huge cultural footprint. BlackBerry was part of the GameStop thing. It was one of the meme stocks. Fucking Dumb Money was huge. They pushed the fuck out of that thing.
Yeah.
That's tied up in there. They
Paul
had so
Dano's
much.
a much more celebrated.
Than
man.
Glenn Howerton, though? He's not a nobody.
Dude, there's dumb people running things. We just have to know that.
But I'm saying they could have gotten so much cheap
This was
advertising on Reddit and all that they could have ridden this to something. The fact that they did nothing with it, then I thought, are they going to punt it to
they
streaming?
made the ball silly, on their side.
They did
Ball silly
nothing.
would have
They
helped
did
them.
nothing with it. It came out to AMC Plus. You thought, are they going to push it there? Are they trying to drive people there? No advertisement for that. And now
Little
it's plopped
things in
on
the movie,
Hulu.
though.
And then there's nothing with the Hulu. And it's just baffling to me that no one saw this. They didn't give it any sort of chance. And now I feel like there's a ton of people who are never going to see it. It's just going to be out there, and people are going to
listen
discover
to this
this.
show, or at least going to check it out out of curiosity. I think.
Yeah.
If they haven't yet, if they haven't heard us talking about it, this came out I think in March. And
Yes,
it's been my number 1 all year, and I was like, I'm not sure. So like a week and a half ago, I put it back on. I was doing other things around the house, and I ended up watching the entire fucking thing. And Pete, I would pause it because I wanted to just have it on while I was doing research and doing work, but I couldn't. So I'd have to pause it and then finish the work and
It's
then
too
watch
good
the
to just
scene.
have it be on.
It's just so good.
It's
just really, dude. I'm telling you, Matthew Johnson is a really, really, really good filmmaker.
Showed it here.
It was phenomenal, and it just infuriates me that the number of people who I've asked, like, okay, so what were your top movies? And they ask me, and I go, Blackberry, and they go,
But it's not
what
your
was
number
that?
1, you fucking douche. You could have we could have all lined up.
Oh, what a historic tape it would have been.
But again, for a lot of this, my number 5 is interchangeable.
Avery.
I love these all.
It's 98% of Rotten Tomatoes. What is a negative review?
For Blackberry,
I gotta know.
And
So
none of us
there's-
have Oppenheimer. Is
there's
anyone going to
probably
take this so
2.
seriously ever if Oppenheimer's not on it?
Nah.
2 or 3.
I 3.5 starred that. I was not in love with Oppenheimer. Let's see what we got. It's by the numbers, and its sense of self-importance renders it all kind of silly.
It is not either of those things.
That's one of the only ones that I can find that's negative. The other one is the characters are thinly sketched stereotypes,
Disagree.
with the exception of Howerton, who it is hard not to like it in any role. This is the kind of movie you would watch on a plane without complaint, then utterly forget.
Wait, Howerton is hard not to like in any role?
He plays a dick all the time.
And I feel like he is the most thinly, like, he's just evil. Not evil. He's just a shark.
One-dimensional.
He's one-dimensional. But as far as that reviewer says, oh my God, fucking opinions, man.
That's like that's the only. And then there's the Blackberry plays like a prototype still waiting to be realized, a sketch that's still undeveloped. What? That's from the New Yorker. Fuck off, Richard Brody.
I wonder what his favorite. Now you have to reverse engineer that and see what his favorite movie is.
Oh, Richard Brody. Let's see.
Let's see what his
what
number
did he
1
fi-
is.
what
I
did
bet
he,
it's Oppenheimer.
What did he 5-star?
Look, I liked Oppenheimer quite a bit. It's probably top 30.
In other years, it might be in the top 5.
He didn't like Love Lies Bleeding.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
Didn't like Perfect Days.
What's his favorite though? What does he like? What does he respond to?
He didn't like Zone of Interest.
Wow. Is he like contrarian?
He didn't like Wonka.
Fuck this guy.
So what is this guy?
Didn't like Saltburn.
No, this guy's
Didn't like The Holdovers. Who the fuck? What?
Does
He
he
loved
have-
Killers of the Flower Moon though.
Wow. A suspect.
It's a really good movie though.
He didn't like
Killers.
Anatomy of the Fall. What is? He didn't like Oppenheimer either.
He didn't.
No.
I kind of like this guy.
But he liked Barbie. Who is this?
He liked Barbie. This man confounds me. I'm very curious.
Who is this
I want
man?
to have lunch with this
I
man.
don't understand.
He liked Barbie.
What are these?
Do you like? What about Poor Things? Where's he weigh in on Poor Things?
Oh, that's
He's got to like Poor Things.
This might be Werner
I'll be
Herzog.
shocked if he doesn't like Poor Things. Why do we care so much about what?
Because we have to know.
We are the authority. That's why we come
Yeah,
out
why
after
are
the
we giving
Oscars.
this
Would you
guy
believe he
so much
liked
line?
Asteroid City?
Save for the Vaulties.
Oh, did he not even review Poor Things? He must have. Are you shitting me?
That would actually make even more of a mystery of this man.
That made me even more angry.
Now I must know.
I don't know.
We gotta get the fuck out.
All right, jerks. Oh, we got a
Richard
game?
Brody.
Do we have Mess of Lizard top 5?
Do we have any also rants to discuss?
Oh fuck yeah, we do.
Actually,
Brian should have been doing the entire movie. All right, hey, actually, you know what? I got a big one to talk about real quick here. There's a movie called Rebel. I flickfested a couple weeks ago. It absolutely would have been on my list, but evidently it's a 2022 movie as far as the world's concerned, even though it didn't become available to the United States till 2023. I went back and forth. I'm like, do I?
you're a purist.
But I guess I can't because I don't think it would have even been eligible for like 2023 awards. So Rebel is a movie that is amazing and it should be seen by anyone who's listening to this program.
All right. Can I do some also rants? The ones not mentioned that made the final 17 for me: Robot Dreams, Mission Impossible, believe it or
Yes.
not, is a really excellent movie. We talked about Anatomy of Fall, Society of the Snow,
Yep. That almost made my top 10. I thought it was unbelievable.
Linoleum, I briefly mentioned. I
I got Linoleum on there as well.
I responded more apparently to Dream Scenario than most people.
It's on my also rants as well.
It's
Love
not
it.
on my also rants.
Sisu.
Yes, Sisu.
I forgot Sisu was this year. Why do I
Let's
keep
not
forgetting
forget.
it's this year? I'm
So then-
sure it's this year.
It's a good
Everything
companion
else-
piece to Promised Land.
Everything else was mentioned.
And then a Pinball, The Man Who Saved the Game, is a very, very good movie, also about a product, but it sings. I keep saying sings. I realize that I'm using it way too much, but that movie does sing. It's a great
It
movie,
soars.
Pinball. It soars. It's all about the history of pinball and about one guy, one nerd who absolutely loved that pinball. Io Capitano.
Really good.
Little recency biased. I kind of couple
No,
it
it's
with
really
Rebel as far as just really, really tough times to be had in other parts of the world if you get caught up in the wrong scenario. And To Catch a Killer, made by the same guy who did Wild Tales, which I think was my number 1 that year. Same director as it was his follow-up to Wild Tales. It's called To Catch a Killer. It's with Ben Mendelsohn. Really, really good. Who else is what's her name? She's a huge star. Drawing a blank on her fucking name.
From where?
Shailene Woodley.
No,
Yes,
one
thank
movie.
you. Shailene Woodley in Catch a Killer, also known as Misanthrope. That was the original title, Misanthrope. That's a great name. Should have gone with Misanthrope. What's the matter with you? And Saltburn, did we mention Saltburn?
We didn't.
Saltburn had some moments, had some great moments.
I did enjoy Saltburn.
When I was just daydreaming about the Vaulties, I'm like, is it a world where Saltburn cracks the top 10? Did not. But moments in that movie, as well as...
Oh, the song at the end, I love.
There were moments.
At the end, there's many, many memorable, powerful moments in Saltburn. You took a long time to catch up with Saltburn, Brian, but once you did, you saw the penis.
Oh, I like Saltburn.
And I love him. He's just great. Kyogen is... Oh, I hope he's sticking around for a while. And then Beau is Afraid. I mean, I have problems with that movie, but there's so much good, especially early on with that movie.
There's the equal amount of forgetfulness.
Yeah. It's just upsetting because I can't really rewatch it.
You can rewatch the first act.
Yeah.
Am I missing something with the woods sequence? Like, I would skip that entirely.
That's not the toughest part, I don't think. And I think in some movies that would be the best part.
It's not tough. It's boring.
I think in some movies that would be the most poignant part of the entire movie. And I guess that's it. Society of the Snow on there, as well as Anatomy of a Fall and Oppenheimer's. Top 20, top 25.
My unmentions were The Boy and the Heron. It was
The Boy and the Heron is also on there. Yes,
phenomenal. Sisu, obviously. The Teacher's Lounge, it really affected me, which must be a testament to the filmmaking. I thought it was very well constructed. I was much higher on Maestro than I think anyone else that I've encountered
you were
on the planet. I liked Maestro. There's something about it. And lastly, Guardians 3. I think it was a return to form for Marvel. I pabbed out, got Dusty in the theater. I thought it was
stupid.
Oh, loved the little rocket,
really
little young rocket. With this little animal experimentations. Guardians 3, very, very good.
To Catch a Killer, guys. To Catch a Killer. I'm telling you.
It's as good as Misanthrope.
It's just as good. It's the exact same as good.
Do we want to
Linoleum. Linoleum, it will blow many people's minds. Linoleum is a very, very good movie.
Do we want to hear the listener list?
With Jeff Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan.
Jimmy Gaffigan.
We take listener submissions for our voting.
They get the final say. Our listeners, because the show is for the people.
Indeed.
It's for the people.
On our social media, on our Reddit, et cetera, et cetera. What do the people say?
Yes. So the people have seen. We got to we got to pay off the Oscar ballots. The winner of the Oscar pool.
Wait, no, we're doing listener.
First, the top 5.
Yeah,
the listener top 5. Then we'll do the pool. The listener top 5. There's a 3-way tie for number 5.
Like that.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Nope.
Saltburn.
Nope.
And Zone of Interest.
Yep.
Number 4.
Quite a diverse selection.
Barbie.
Nope.
To a 3-way tie for number 3. Holdovers.
Yep.
Mission Impossible.
Nope.
And Blackberry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Number 2 for the listeners. Oppenheimer.
Fuck you guys.
And number 1 for the year for the listeners is Poor Things. And there were some interesting ones that all got 1 vote. The Goose threw in as well. Killers of the Flower Moon. Disagree. The Flash. Flash.
You know what?
All right,
Flash,
Brian. All right.
I enjoyed.
Flash.
Very fun.
It
was so fun.
Godzilla.
Very fun movie.
I got Dusty then the Flash.
Because you were sad that you liked it.
I'm like, why do I like this? It's terrible.
Godzilla, Dungeons and Dragons, high on the fun scale.
It was very fun, yes.
And you are so not invited to my bat mitzvah.
Did not see.
Did not see either.
You guys got to catch up with the Flash.
Right after bat mitzvah.
Mitch Burns with the Oscar pool. So the winner, he only gave his first name, is Aaron.
Aaron, congrats, Aaron. Girl or guy?
So we have to reach out to you.
Boy Aaron or Hank Aaron?
Mitch sent you an email because he wanted to reach out to you as well. He's afraid it got stuck in spam, but reach out to contacttfv@gmail.com as you're hearing this. In the description, the winner gets to pick a top 5 or a movie for us.
Just
top 5. Pick a top 5.
You have to come up with a top 5. Because if you're that adept at picking the Oscars, you know topics. Give us a top 5.
So Aaron crushed it. He got 48 out of 51 points.
That's impressive.
He only got 2 wrong. Do you want to guess what they were?
Oh, I read the email earlier.
Makeup and hairstyling and the documentary short subject, but he nailed everything else.
Wow, that's impressive. Because it was a lot of upsets, right?
Had to be the biggest year of upsets in a long time, right?
So I wonder if he was just picking by letters, because you know how they do in sports sometimes, like pick colors. Like, I like the Vikings because they're purple. I wonder if he was picking by, I like the name of that movie. What is it? Poor. Oh, it's probably about poor little street urchins or something. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that.
I think he voted with his heart. Followed his heart.
Maybe. That's what I did, and I got crushed.
I went with
Well,
the
I don't
favorites.
know if
got
you may have done
smacked.
better than me.
Well, we'll see. The results of the Oscars gambling. Anderson got 16
Are we
correct.
going to get back to assigning with
Yes, that's
This
what I was
should
going
be
to
it. This
say.
should be
You
it.
said this is when it starts.
Oh,
Once the Vaulties
if I
included.
win, you're watching the Flash.
And I'm backlogged. I got to assign you guys something.
You got Lola.
Backlogged.
Shorter. Yeah, that's a funny critic. Like, you do a deep dive on a critic, and you're like, yeah, they only like these. And then you realize that all the movies they like are very short. They only like short movies.
They're all under 100 minutes.
They're all under 90. That's kind of the sweet spot.
Anderson got 16 correct.
Out of 21?
23.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I got 16 correct. Brian
Yep.
got
Mr. Oddsmaker.
17 correct.
Oh, big time.
Edged it out by
That's a pathetic show.
1 point.
17 out of 22.
20.
You play the odds straight, don't you? Don't you just like go
No,
on the
but he,
bookmaker?
but he
There
bucked the
were-
trend because I did.
There were a
You,
couple, that I went opposite.
I mean, I fucked up one year, last year, and putting. I guess I went way against the odds. I don't even. Don't lift my lock. I hit all 5 of my locks this year, but
Yeah, same.
I don't look at the goddamn odds except for the shorts. 'Cause
So-
I have no idea.
Brian will be assigning.
Anderson, I have not assigned a film in so long. I don't know where to go with it. How many do we have left for the listeners, by the way?
Probably about
Listeners.
30 or so, maybe
Are you
40.
fucking really?
Yeah, I haven't
Wow.
done the audit in quite some time, and I know we owe people.
That is too many.
And gambling for next week.
It's about one listener movie a week for the year. Because there's 25 of them, do the math, 2 a year. Do the math.
That's smart.
All right, you have to watch The Flash.
No, I don't. Come on. Lola.
Actually, I'll give you a try. You haven't seen Lola?
Fuck no.
All right, Lola.
100%.
It's quick.
It's 100% on.
It's not. It's not.
79.
We saw it was 97.
It's a 3-star movie, says Avery.
Stand by that shit.
Yes, I thought you saw it.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did.
All right, let's get out of here.
We got to gamble.
Anderson's cock blocking me.
We're gambling on the American Society of Magical Negroes.
I
I
don't
mean, it
feel
looks good. Early sound. The critics have sounded off, and they're coming in saying that it's a remarkable film.
I heard that's
Is
how
that
Dad
true?
got the Oscar gig.
Is that true?
Well, they say you think it's one thing from the trailer, but it's actually way much better, and it's really it seems like a critic darling.
They said if American fiction could get nominated, this will certainly win.
Now, are you roping up me? Is it actually really good?
On 3,
Who directed this? You know,
A person.
Spike Lee.
it was not Spike Lee.
Is there a named director associated with this?
No,
I'm sure they have a name.
I know where to go with this. All right. Fuck. All right.
looking up the director because our producer is not doing so.
We can't look it up. It's going to be the score.
I can tell you, I don't pray at the altar.
No, when you Google it, it'll show
I'll
you.
get the director. It's directed by Kobe Libby.
Okay, I knew it.
I think it might be a first-time director. It's the first time.
That's usually a good sign.
It's the first time. I know that
Let's see.
it debuted at Sundance. I can tell you the trailer looks really, really good, though.
I don't know what to do here.
Like the computer appears.
He directed Alpha House and Madam Secretary.
I've-
Oh, can I say that Rebel
I've
was
not
directed
seen
by
the
the brothers who directed a couple of Back to Rebel, because Rebel is absolutely worth everyone's time. I think it would crack the top 5 for me if it was technically a 2023 movie. The directors that directed a couple big blockbusters out here with the last 2 Bad Boys, all right, and they also directed the very controversial and buried Batgirl, which
Oh, that's right. Never came
will
out.
never be seen, and which makes me wonder. Like, I always thought it was going to be too goofy and too like they're trying to make. I thought the DC was trying to make their mark and be darker and more serious than what Marvel's doing, and that was going to be their lane. And they did so with Batman, and Batgirl was being produced, and they looked at it and they're like, "This is too goofy." Now, after watching Rebel, I'm
You're like,
thinking,
let me see Batgirl.
maybe it was a little too dark for the powers that be.
Ooh.
I don't know. I still don't know how that makes sense to spend all that money, even if you don't market it. Put it out, especially right now. People. If you put Batgirl on any streaming service, you know how many nerds would subscribe just for a month just to see that fucking movie? Put it up for $5. You know how many nerds would buy it? What are you doing?
I mean, the Coyote versus Acme.
I don't get it.
It's a tax write-off. And now at this point, it's sticking to your guns. It doesn't matter how profitable.
How has it not been leaked?
Yeah, stick to it.
I mean, is it never? No one's ever going to see that
No.
movie.
No.
How is that? How do we live in a digital world where that's a thing? It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me.
The ending's already leaked online, not a video of it, but a description, and everyone's like, that's fucking brilliant. That would have been great. Yeah.
I bet it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking it's probably
Anyone who's seen it said it was phenomenal.
Which was this?
The Coyote versus Acme. With
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Batgirl.
Oh, that was...
All right. Let's on 3. 1,
Wait.
2.
Okay.
1, 2, 54.
70.
Anderson gets 54.
I haven't seen the trailer.
You haven't seen the trailer. That's a problem.
That's why.
That'll hurt you.
Anderson guessed 54, Bryan 70 with 25 reviews.
Oh.
The current tomato score is 36%.
Okay, so you're sure you didn't get that backwards.
Oh, it's 93.
Not upside down.
It was upside down. 93%.
That's bad news for me.
It's not great news.
Justice Smith seems really annoying in it, but he was pretty good in Dungeons and Dragons, right?
It seems like it's trying so hard. The white tears meter, I went, this is so on the nose. Come on.
All right.
There's no satire. There's no subtlety.
Yeah. I mean, The Blackening was a movie that I wanted to like a lot, but
But that at least, it seemed like it was camp.
it was too camp. Though.
This is not camp. This seems like it's trying to have a heartfelt message.
Yeah, it does. It feels like, you know what? It feels like a movie made for Oprah.
Yeah.
I probably want to see this. I probably want to see this.
You know those movies that are just like, ugh, that made me so uncomfortable, and then you'll hear like Oprah singing about it.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It's like, what? It was? Wait, but I don't live in your world, I guess. We live in.
I don't review movies in song form.
What?
But here, I don't review movies in song form.
We
Here-
should next week.
That's my new bit. All right, thanks, Dallas Terry, for the great listener art. Appropriate for this week's episode.
It's the only one that we reuse once a year.
Good stuff. Enjoyable. All right. Excuse me, guys. It's late. Thanks, Dallas. And thank you to Mother Bell. They're our featured artists this week. Check them out over at AndersonandBryan.com. And that is where you go for all your Film Vault needs. Links to our Amazon Amazon shopping portal, I guess you would say. And also all of our social media accounts. They are Anderson and Bryan on Instagram. Oh, I sound terrible. That's a lot better. Anderson and Bryan on TikTok, The Film Vault on Facebook, The Film Vault over on Twitter, and The Film Vault podcast over on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, thank you, Eric Kath, for helping out and maintaining our YouTube presence. We appreciate you. Thanks, Giovanni. Thanks, Drake. Love what you're doing over there on the social media. Hey, if you haven't checked it out, Drake is doing games and all sorts of fun stuff on our social media. I would check it out if I were you. Mike Cole, thanks for your help. Goose, can't do it without you. Appreciate you. Check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/thefilmvault. This is a great year. Hey, here's to a great year.
Hey, here's to a great
another
year.
year.
Here we go.
Oh, cheers.
Look at us.
Cheers.
Look at us. Top of the world, Ma. Hey, if I haven't said it before, nice jacket.
Thanks, buddy.
Blackberry, Hulu. Fucking watch it.
Yeah, watch pretty much all the movies you heard about tonight, with the exception of what? What did we do? Do we disagree with anything? I don't think we disagreed with anything.
Well,
Like, every
maybe,
movie that was named.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Fanflickssions.
Did I have any problem with any of your five?
I think maybe May, December.
Yeah, that was the only one that was on
I
a
didn't have a
list
problem with
tonight that I didn't love, that wasn't on my top 20.
It's
But
worth your
I
time.
like it. I like it quite a bit. Yeah, it's a good movie.
All right, everyone watch Lola along with Anderson.
All right, and
Oh, you poor fuck.
All right, anything else?
we do it for Van Gogh.